as once again Sir Bobby Charlton will be remembered, and now everybody is lifting that mosaic on the far side. It reads Sir Bobby, and of course one of his teammates from 1966, Sir Geoff Hurst, carrying a wreath to the edge of the centre circle. Darkness inside the stadium, the light show once again. As Sir Geoff Hurst lays down that wreath, and also an England shirt inside the centre circle, as Sir Bobby Charlton is remembered here at Wembley Stadium. Six caps, 49 goals. A majestic player on the pitch, modest off it. Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland attended his funeral in Manchester on Monday. And that was a fitting tribute as Wembley says its own fond farewell. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Here we are at Wembley Stadium, England against Malta. This penultimate qualifier in Euro 2024, where England's primary task has already been achieved, and now they aim to be one of the top seeds before travelling to Skopje on Monday night. A game you can listen to here on 5 Live as well, as the ball goes back with Malta in their red shirts and white shorts, playing from right to left as we look, and England in their white shirts and navy shorts. And the other remarkable aspect about tonight is that it's a sellout, and given the low level of opposition, Malta, who are ranked 171st in the world, I would imagine that hold on, Malta come forward now. Here is Toma, and Toma with a shot, and just goes wide, just inside the D, hit it true, left-footed. That would have been inside 30 seconds.
And that was close, Ian. Really was. For anybody that thought this would be a pushover, you can just go out there and play this game. Just a bit of an awakening, little lapse in concentration in the middle of the pitch from Conor Gallagher. Just got caught on the ball, thinking he had a lot more time than he did. Malta were on him in a flash, won the ball, and it wasn't far away from Jordan Pickford's outstretched hand, and he was really scrambling to get across his goal. Malta have won the ball back already, pressing this England team. Started well.
Well, they took the lead against Ukraine last month. In the end, they lost by 3 goals to 1 as Rashford is played through the middle, and just covering to come across was Jean Borge to clear it away. And in fact, Sergei Rebrov was highly complimentary of Malta, but because they do tend to struggle, and they've lost all 7 of their qualifiers this season. Speaking to a member of their backroom staff last night, he was just saying that the problem they have is their resilience, both from a physical aspect and also from a mental point of view. But that was a very good effort from Teddy Toma. He's 30 years of age, now plays his football for Reims in France, but he was signed in the summer for €4 million from Union Saint-Gilloise, one of their better players, and that would have been a real shock.
They have splashes of quality. I think that, if England would have found themselves 1-0 down, I don't think there'd been a moment to panic too much. No. But it's just a moment of learning. You've got to have your concentration levels about you for the entirety of a game. And in that moment, England were just a bit breezy, a little bit sloppy, not quite up to the tempo you need right from the initial moment in the game. Conor Gallagher thinking he had more time, just not being aware of what was around him, and suddenly he could be up against it.
Just before that effort as well, I was saying about the FA sales team, this being a sellout, they could probably sell sand in the desert, couldn't they? I mean, if you can get a sellout for Malta, they deserve a pay rise, do they not?
Yeah, but I think it's different watching England now than it was a 5-10 years ago. No disrespect to England teams and squads that came before it. I think you see the quality within the team, and you see Harry Kane just wants to score 2 and 3 a game. You see Phil Foden, Rashford, you see Trent, Alexander-Arnold in there who can make chances at will, and you expect to see goals. You're not going there to see England somehow get over the line in a 1-0, 2-0 victory. You're expecting to see good football, free-flowing technique, movement, rotation, and a couple of good goals at the end of it.
Something that Gareth Southgate was saying to John Murray last night when he was live on 5 Live. You know, they've got a responsibility here to perform in front of this sellout crowd, but at the moment, been playing for just over 3.5 minutes. Malta have made a decent start. Let's bring in Conor Cody, who's with us as well. They seem to have settled quite well, the away team.
Yeah, they do. They had that chance early on in the game, and it's something where, again, I think we're all expecting England to play the game in their half, but they've come out quite strong. But I agree with what Ozzy was saying there. I think a lot of people relate to this England team, and I think relating to him sells crowds and brings crowds in, so I think that's a massive part of it as well.
Conor Cody, who knows all about it from being at a member of the Euros and the World Cup squad as well. So all these individuals are teammates of Conor Cody, who's with us here tonight with Leon Osman as Tomori, playing as a left back. First time that Tomori's actually featured in 3 successive squads in his England career. He was speaking to him the other day, and he was telling me about it's been a bit stop-start really for his own international career. First opportunity for him to maybe just feel part of it, as Guéhi, who really is putting pressure on Stones and Maguire in that central defensive area. John Stones, of course, is not fit. Maguire, who's now become a bit of a regular at Manchester United, 8 successive starts at Old Trafford. Guéhi comes under pressure. That was from Kemar Reid.
I think that's reward, Ian. I really do. I think that when you've earned your position in the squad, you're getting in the squad for a second, for a third time, that's when the manager's going, do you know what, he's been in the squad, his attitude's been brilliant, his application's been brilliant, he's rightly in the squad for what he's been doing on the pitch. Now it's time to reward, and there was questions of who will play left back tonight, and I think that's why he won the battle. I think Gareth Southgate's gone, I think it's his time.
It's a bit of a problem area when you think about the injuries at the moment. Ben Chilwell and Luke Shaw are out, but a central defender filling in at left back as the ball is switched out towards that far side, and Malta were trying to get Joseph Mbong away on the right. It goes out of play for an England throw. 0-0 BBC Radio 5 Live.
I think one of the other reasons why Tomori may be in as a central defender playing left back is this Malta team play 2 players up front, and you can solve the problem by having one of your holding midfielders drop back and be part of that midfield 3, or as happened just then, Tomori can tuck right in. It does leave gaps in that left back, left wing back position, but seems Gareth Southgate would rather cover it in that way, allow his midfielders to get forward better.
Henderson tidies up in the England half, and now it's with Alexander-Arnold. Oh, that was a crude challenge by Reid. Really caught Alexander-Arnold quite late. The referee, who is from Portugal, Luis Godinho, comes across, doesn't show a yellow card straight away to the attacking midfielder of Malta, but the bald referee will have a strong word with Kemar Reid.
And it didn't look great at first view, and especially the way Trent Alexander-Arnold fell to the floor, but I think thankfully he missed him with the first tackle with the outstretched right foot, which would have, had it made contact, been just below the knee. He missed with that one and upended Trent Alexander-Arnold with his follow-through. That's why Trent went in the air, but he'd be pleased that he managed to avoid that first leg.
I was speaking with Trent last night. I said, are we speaking with Trent the fullback or Trent the midfielder? He said Trent the footballer, but how he was really looking forward. He views himself actually with England now as a midfielder, as Foden's nice touch takes him into the area. Foden with the cutback, takes a deflection and goes in, and England lead an early goal after just 7 minutes. The deflection was telling, but England lead Malta by a 1-0 from their first attack, and it was Enrico Pepe with the cruel deflection past his own goalkeeper, Henry Bonello.
Yeah, nothing he can do about it really. He's just running back into position to try and defend it in some way, but this goal was all about the touch of Phil Foden. It was absolutely outstanding. The ball was played into him from Guéhi. He's come into a number 10 type position, a pocket, and it's not even into his feet perfectly. It's a little bit outstretched on that left foot, and in one movement he's managed to control it into his path at full speed, gets him in behind that Malta back three, in between Borg and Pepe, and he's looking for who's in the penalty area. I don't think his pass was perfect. I think he was trying to pick out Harry Kane. Not sure whether it would have made Harry Kane, but that doesn't matter. In Russian Pepe couldn't do a thing about making first contact, barging it towards his goalkeeper, who could do nothing to keep it out, and England lead after their first real attack of the game.
And just like in Malta in June, an own goal giving England the lead, and you've got a feel, haven't you, for the unfortunate defender, Connor?
Yeah, you have, and especially with the way Malta have started, they've had a little go, they've tried to press a little bit higher, but listen, sometimes in games like this, England have got the quality to hurt you, but then at the same time, when you get a stroke or look like that, it doesn't half help. You just get a little bit of a foothold in the game, and then get back on the front foot. And you can see now England building up with that three at the back and Trippier a little bit higher. So I think it's exactly what they needed. Yeah.
What's interesting is that after the goal, Trent Alexander-Arnold came to the side of the pitch, and he's actually had a little bit of tape applied around the knee of his left leg. Don't think that was down to the challenge, because the challenge was more on his heel, wasn't it? His Achilles.
Well, I don't know. I think maybe it was. He's been moving gingerly ever since. Maybe it was before that, but that tackle was severe on his standing leg. I think he's still fortunate that the initial outstretched leg of Mbong didn't make contact with his leg by the knee, studs up, but still it seems it's a significant touch on the shin, maybe knee of Trent, and he's got it bandaged up now. He's not moving as comfortably as he maybe could.
Maguire gets the ball away. This is an opportunity now for Paul Mbong, and Paul Mbong with a shot, left-footed, on the rise from just outside the penalty area, off-target goal kick. No Maltese players ever scored against England. Their only ever goal was a Richard Wright own goal in the days of Kevin Keegan 23 years ago. But they've had a couple of efforts now from outside the area. Yeah,
and both of them coming from sloppiness from England. I mean, that time it was Harry Maguire trying to squeeze a pass through midfield that wasn't on, and saying about the setup, they're five at the back, Malta three across the middle, two strikers that are dropping deeper, trying to be a bit narrower. They're encouraging that kind of pass into that position. They won it back cleanly, and again a nice comfortable shot at goal.
Alexander-Arnold is challenged. On this occasion it was Goulamir with the tackle. Always think as well, when you see Gareth Southgate in the technical area, that's when maybe he's not necessarily content with the way things are going, and he's come to his technical area just watching on.
Yeah, I mean, there are places to try things, there are places that you can potentially lose the ball. England have lost the ball in their own final third twice now. That's not where you lose the ball against any opponent. You know, when you get to that final third, you can try things. Trent can try things, Phil Foden, Harry Kane. Don't mind them trying to be imaginative in those positions. It'll pay off occasionally and you'll get goals. You don't want your centre-halves trying it as deep as Harry Maguire was there. You don't want Conor Gallagher trying it where he did earlier. It doesn't matter who you come up against, you cannot give opposition such chances.
England have given the ball away. Now Southgate turns and will walk back to his bench. Although as a manager, Conor, you'll know him so well from when you've played under him. He tries to encourage the players to pass the ball, doesn't he? He won't be critical if they do make mistakes.
No, not at all. And listen, we get told, and the lads get told to play from the back and to play certain things, but I think the one thing we don't want to do in this game is get complacent and start playing passes that aren't really on and thinking everything's okay, because any team in the world will hurt you. It's as simple as that. So I think it's important we play the way England want to play. We play out from the back, we move the ball, we switch the play, we try and do what we do, but at the same time making sure we don't get complacent and give something silly away.
Gahey turns, square ball. Alexander-Arnold is deep, turns and finds his former Liverpool teammate Henderson, wraps it hard into the feet of Foden, lays it back to Trippier. Trippier now lifts it in the air. Alexander-Arnold has made that run out towards this near side, and coming across with great pace was Enrico Pepe, and in fact he had to vault the advertising hoardings down below as he ran off the pitch. It's a throw to Malta, who trail by a goal to nil. BBC Radio 5 Live. Townman with the touch. Ball slid through by Kamanzuli, looking for the run of Kemar Reid. There was Pickford to pick it up. Underarm throw out towards Tomori. England now just try and increase the pace as Henderson will pass the ball out towards Conor Gallagher. On that far side, the England left, just over the halfway line, leading by a goal to nil. 12 and a half minutes in. Fikayo Tomori, just his Fifth appearance for England, the Milan defender, as Gallagher collects this ball out to Rashford, far side the left. Henderson now takes over. Gallagher is ahead of him on that left touch line, and then England will play the ball back to Tomori, and now with Harry Maguire. As here is Gahey, Trippier over the halfway line. Malta, though, still working hard off the ball, and it goes back to Jordan Pickford. Leon Osman.
Well, they've got a good defensive setup, Malta, in what they're trying to do. I've said back five, stretching across the pitch, midfield three, two in front, trying to force England into the wide areas, build up in those wide areas. As yet, I'm not quite sure England have got the balance right to do that enough in their midfield areas, allowing the likes of Phil Foden to come into the pockets of space and start play.
Here is Rashford, far side the left, running forward, breaks back towards Henderson. Alexander-Arnold with his back to goal, touched it to Henderson. Challenge came in on the Al-Ettifaq player, as Alexander-Arnold on the halfway line towards Harry Maguire. It was all started by Gahey on that occasion, stepping out of defence, as now it's with Rashford. And people question about Marcus Rashford's inclusion. Yes, he's gone 12 games without a goal for Manchester United, but he's actually scored 8 goals in his last 9 starts for England. So whilst the question marks are being, why is there no Raheem Sterling, Gareth Southgate is a big believer in consistency with his squad, that familiarity, and certainly for Marcus Rashford, he's been in good form for England. A different player in the white shirt of England to that of the red of Manchester United. As Gallagher tries to run forward, falls over. It's just a coming together, says the referee. As on that far side it'll be Joseph Mbong who tries to get it away. Rashford then puts him under a little bit of pressure, tries to nick it away off his toes, runs forward, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. Leon Osman.
Yeah, better from Marcus Rashford there. You're right about his form, his country form has been much better than his club form, and I do like to see that if you're performing internationally, you can still be recognised. You don't always have to be playing outstandingly well for your club. It helps, it's a good thing, certainly, but Southgate has shown in the past, with Raheem Sterling, with Marcus Rashford, that you perform when you put the white shirt on. Always been in his thoughts.
Malta looking to take this goal kick. Looks like they want to play it out short, but England are poised with the press. Harry Kane will run towards the goalkeeper Henry Bonello, who clears away downfield. Maguire just gets a foot into that. It's picked up by Joseph Mbong on that far side, who runs forward, red shirts, white shorts. Mbong now leaves it, and it was with Reed. Taumer. Referee's played the advantage. It was Gallagher who just left a little bit on Taumer, the midfielder. Ball then played forward by Guillemire. Out it goes to Joseph Mbong once again, carries the ball on the inside, and then just stepping forward there was Henderson, who finds Gallagher midway through his own half. As now it's with Gahey, just outside the D of his own penalty area. Forward ball to Trent Alexander-Arnold. You were saying before, Connor, about, and there's an example of it, Alexander-Arnold pings a lovely forward ball towards Harry Kane. The angle is tight, doesn't cross first time, waits, pulls it back. Alexander-Arnold then takes it with pace into the penalty area, as Pepe almost gets himself into a tangle, plays it to Joseph Mbong, who then just clears it away long. About how Trent Alexander-Arnold will relish this type of game against the level of opposition.
Yeah, I think so, and I think you'll be looking at it, it's a chance to impress, it's a chance to play well, and it's a chance to get on the ball and play football. And like I said, we listened to his press conference yesterday, and it's something that I think he wants to do, listening to how intrigued he is by the situation and by the position, and speaking to the manager, and I think we're all looking forward to seeing him tonight, yeah.
In fact, his last goal was against Malta in June, in that 4-0 success. Harry Kane and Callum Wilson were also on target, as well as that own goal back in June. As here is Maguire.
We all know what he's capable of, Trent Alexander-Arnold, in those positions, and any player ahead of him, when he picks the ball up, knows they can try something. They know they can make a run. They know he's the type of player that can find him.
Here is Foden. Out to Rashford, left corner of the area, wants the return ball, back to Foden, delivers the cross, the goalkeeper spilt it initially, and then dives on it inside his 6-yard area.
That was going to be the follow-on to my point so far, that when Trent picks the ball up, everybody in front comes alive. At the moment, I think he's just playing 5 yards too advanced, and I think it's just taken the positions of Phil Foden getting on the ball. I'd see Trent just 5 yards closer to Henderson, just so he can pick the ball up more easily, see what's ahead of him, allow Phil Foden to drift in those spaces. We just saw a glimpse of it then. Phil Foden drifting in, going across, getting in front of Harry Kane, moving, getting the ball back, and we know he can take hold of games in that way.
England lead by a goal to nil. Leon Osman and Conor Cody are with us here at Wembley Stadium. As coming forward now is Cameron Zuli. His diagonal ball along the ground goes straight towards Harry Maguire, and he's given the ball away. There have been occasions tonight where England have been sloppy with their distribution from the back, as Malta with Jean Borges. Ball is rolled all the way back to Bonella, the goalkeeper. He now plays it forward. Cameron Zuli back with Jean Borges. We've got two Borges and two Mbongs in the Malta side, as Italy are leading North Macedonia by a goal to nil. Matteo Darmian has scored. That would take Italy level with Ukraine on 13 points as they look to see who will qualify with England from Group C. As Tauma switches play out towards the right-hand side, but it goes away from Joseph Mbong, and it will be a throw to England by a goal to nil. 20 minutes played nearly.
Malta has certainly been no pushover in this game. I think, as I've said, the setup's been good. I think they're causing England some problems, certainly with having two strikers up front, two wings backs in those positions. I think they're breaking on England quite well. I'm still not convinced that the balance is quite right in the middle of the pitch. They're getting counter-attacked on easily, but I think England still feel that they're quite comfortable in the game.
What have you made of the opening 20 minutes, Conor?
Exactly the same, really. I think Malta have caused a few little problems. I do think we still need to settle into the game a little bit, and I think, like I said before, I think just not making things hard for ourselves a little bit, keeping all the ball a little bit better, getting control of the game. I think we've got to realise, and I'm trying to see the game in terms of us playing with like the three centre-halves in possession, so getting the boys on the ball and playing out from the back a little bit, but like I said, just getting a foothold in the game a little bit more.
Henderson did well whilst Conor was talking on this near side, and then he was fouled by Cameron Zuli, and it'll be a free kick to England. Trippier takes it quickly, just touches the ball short and forward towards Foden on this near side, the right. Gallagher now in a central area, just forward of the centre circle. There is Alexander-Arnold looking to try and create with his vision. Everything that he was saying about, he receives, he passes the ball, he controls the game, looks to try and break the lines, get on the ball. That's what he wants to do when he's in that midfield role. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as the ball goes back to Guehi, passes it out far wide the left towards Tomori. Then it goes back towards the Milan defender. England lead by a goal to nil. Tomorrow, 5 Live Sport from midday with Mark Chapman will include commentary of the crucial qualifier for Wales away to Armenia, as Trippier on the run with the cross down by the byline on this near side, the right. There's a red shirt, and then Cameron Zuli to Tauma with his beard and his shaven head, running back into his own half, and then Cameron Zuli hits the ball long off the head of Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold tries to stab it in towards the path of Gallagher, and now it's with Henderson. Little touch by Trippier, that goes astray, and Tauma puts his foot on the ball now, and then waits midway through his own half and passes the ball back. Jean Borges inside, and it goes back towards Borges, passing the ball though quickly, Malta, and beating the England press on that occasion. And now with Tauma just dropping a little bit deeper, there was Kemar Reid. Coming forward now is Gulamir. Joseph Mbong off the chest, running forward. Bit of promise here from Malta. Cross that was blocked, and Mbong won't get there, and Tomori plays it away, but again it goes astray, and Malta are back in possession, only trailing by a goal to nil. But they certainly haven't been fazed by that unfortunate own goal that gives England the lead, as Gulamir with a shot, but the referee's blown his whistle, and that was off target, and it will be a free kick.
It's a free kick to England, I think. I think that a foot was left in on Guehi as he made that clearance there. But I think it's Tomori, actually, beg your pardon. I think if Malta were a better technical team, I think they would have hurt us by now. I think they've got people in good positions. I think Malta's tactics are working very well against ours. I think Tomori is coming far too narrow when we're out of possession of the ball, making it a real back three. Marcus Rashford is coming narrow as well. At times we've got nobody as an outlet in and out of possession on that left-hand side, and Malta are getting a bit of joy with the switch.
Midway through the first half, BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds, and to take you through to half-time, here's our correspondent John Murray.
Thank you very much, Ian. So 1-0, the own goal, just like when we're in Malta in June when it was so hot, and England went 1-0 up through an own goal from Ferdinando Arpap, who's on the bench today. Here's Foden. Foden was very much involved in that opening goal, carries the ball on, gives it to Trippier, whose cross hits the first defender and bounces behind off Jean Borge for the first corner of the match. Leon Osman.
Yeah, a little bit of magic again from Phil Foden, this time on the touchline in front of us, just allowed his marker to come close, flicked it round him, and then he was away. Picked the right pass as well to Trippier. England had players in the penalty area, he just couldn't quite pick out the right person, which is a surprise when you're talking about Kieran Trippier.
Yep. Had a lot of football recently, Kieran Trippier, and here he is starting this match. We did wonder, Ian and I, whether maybe he'll get a half and Kyle Walker will get a half today, but we'll see. Trippier started at right back, the Newcastle man, and he's going to take the corner. Not yet, he's not, because Luis Godinho, the shaven-headed Portuguese referee, just blew several times on his whistle, because in amongst the red shirts and the white shirts there was a bit of grappling going on, so it's a corner to be taken. Obviously the grappling continues despite the words of the referee, but never mind. Trippier raises his left arm and then an outswinger towards the back post, looking for Maguire, who heads it across the box, and it is sort of sliced away on the edge of his own penalty area by Malta, who swing the ball out to the right hand side, and they come forward. They've certainly raised their game here, I'd say, tonight. Malta, the team ranked 171 in the world, but they look as though they're enjoying their visit here to Wembley Stadium, even though they've conceded that own goal. And Kauma, who had that great chance in the first minute, shot wide. What a start that would have been. Kauma plays it to the right hand side, and then there's a collision there that is actually given as a Maltese free kick. I think it was Tomori who dived in. It was a kind of 50-50. The two players involved have both ended up on the ground. It's Yankam, the Malta midfielder, and that is a yellow card for Tomori and a free kick to Malta in the England left-back area.
Yeah, dangerous position, just down the side of the England penalty area. But again, Malta getting joy from that switch across the pitch. They found themselves with a man under no pressure. Tomori is naturally becoming more centrally, being a centre-half, playing left-back. Marcus Rashford doesn't want to go back and pick up a wing-back. He wants to be further up the pitch or come narrow. And Malta have found that's just such an easy ball for them, time after time, to get them up the pitch.
Tomori just stretched in there, didn't he? And he caught the top of the foot of Yankam. So he's yellow-carded, having a few minutes ago been involved in the incident when Paul Mbong, the Maltese number 9, was yellow-carded for his challenge on Tomori. We'll speak to Conor Cody in a moment as a central defender about what it's like for Tomori to have to switch across and play as the left-back in this match. But England have got to face this set piece. And currently in this match, even though England lead by 1-0, it's Malta who, I think I'm right in saying, have had more attempts on goal than England have so far in the match. So it's a free kick on the right-hand side that is going to be swung across by Tauma to the near post. It comes off an England head and bounces behind. It was Harry Kane, actually, the captain, at the near post on the corner of the 6-yard box, who nods it behind, and Malta have a corner. Yeah,
doing what you have to do when you're that front man in that position. Any ball that is low, any ball that is under head height, you deal with. You make sure you're first to it. Nobody can run off the front of you. You make sure it doesn't come in the penalty area.
Tauma to take this, left-footed. Here it is into the England box. Pickford comes in a crowd of players. It's shoveled back out to the right-hand side. Tauma again, left-footed ball swung into the back post, but swung straight into the gloves of Jordan Pickford, who's able to make the catch.
Well, he'll be pleased, Jordan Pickford, that second cross came into his hands unopposed. The first one came scrambling for and Harry Maguire it was that beat him to it. Nobody wants to see the goalkeeper come out and not claim the ball, but thankfully for England, it was Harry Maguire's head.
England breaking away down the right-hand side, but Foden dispossessed by Jean Borg, but the goalkeeper's given it away, dives in on Kane, Kane goes down, the referee has a long look, and is he going to book the England captain for diving? Yes, he is. Gasps of anguish all around Wembley Stadium. You can't do that to Harry Kane at Wembley. What's going on? The world order has been turned upside down.
Well, my first impressions were that he was looking for it, but that there was contact. Like all good strikers do, it was...
That looks like a penalty
it's got to be a penalty for me.
Well, VAR will look at this, Leon. The video assistant referee is also Portuguese, Hugo Miguel. And on first viewing on the replay...
There's contact and it should be a penalty kick. What's happened is Benelo's made a really poor decision, found himself trying to play out from the back. Harry Kane's read it. Touch was probably half a yard too heavy with regards to not being able to touch and shoot into an empty net, but he's got enough time to just knock it round the outstretched goalkeeper. I do think he's looking for it. I do think he leaves his foot where the goalkeeper can go through him, but there's no doubt the goalkeeper then comes through him, and in my opinion that should have been a penalty kick.
Conor Cody?
Yeah, for me it's a stonewaller, absolute stonewaller. I can't believe it's not been given, or we're not even speaking about it being checked or anything like that. It's obviously been checked, but it's kind of something where I can't really believe that's not been given, to be honest with you, especially England at Wembley.
England at Wembley, Harry Kane, and the goalkeeper slides out and takes his standing leg.
Everything seemed to stop, didn't it? We all just waited and expected for the referee to give the decision. Harry Kane just lay face down on the floor. He'd heard the whistle. He was just planning taking a penalty kick in his head. When he turned round and saw the referee walking over to give him a yellow card, he was the most surprised man in the stadium. He's argued. He's obviously lost the argument. The referee has given what he's given. He's obviously not going to change his mind now. But me, Connor, yourself, I feel, John, all can't understand why that's not a penalty kick.
It isn't. Play continues, and England lead Malta by 1-0. The early own goal forced by Phil Foden. Denmark winning 1-0 against Slovenia. That is in Northern Ireland's group, in Group H. Denmark currently in second place in that group, behind Slovenia. So clearly a scoreline that would take Denmark to the top of that group. And in fact Slovenia have just equalised, so it's as you were. Denmark won, Slovenia won. And if you missed it earlier, Albania have qualified tonight. Ball over the top, lovely. Trent Alexander-Arnold to Kane inside the area. Thought he might have just been clipped there as well by Mbong, but he kept his feet. And now England with Rashford near the corner of the box. Kane took it back out into the full-back position, and then Rashford is dispossessed, and it's cleared up towards the halfway line.
What a pass by Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's what he's in there for. That's not what we know he's capable of. He just dropped 5 yards deeper into a pocket of space where he can then get turned, pick his head up. Harry Kane's away. I think there was probably an inch. He could have got that wrong. He could have, there was an inch to play it through, and he nailed it. Harry Kane's touch was okay, maybe a little bit wide, unable to get the finish away, but sublime pass.
Just get the feeling England are beginning to warm up on what is quite a cool night here at Wembley Stadium this November night, and probably also after not being awarded the penalty, that's riled them, and Malta don't want England to be riled. Here's Alexander-Arnold again with a ball in from the right hand side that is headed back out to him. England's number 10 again tonight. He is Alexander-Arnold. Played very well in the 2 matches in midfield at the end of last season in Malta and at Old Trafford against North Macedonia, but it is Malta who break, and it's the shaven-headed, bearded Tauma who plays it forward. Mbong, this is Paul Mbong up towards the edge of the penalty area. Henderson comes across. Now Kamanzuli on the left hand side, the left wing back swings a low ball in, round about waist high. Actually England are able to clear it away near the penalty spot, and then up towards Harry Kane, who is challenged but keeps his feet against Pepe, and Kane now over the halfway line he goes, but Jean Borge went to ground as the last line of defence, 10 yards inside his own half. Kamanzuli's ball downfield, Gay is able to head that to the right hand side, so it is 1-0, and I think over the piece it's been a more competitive game than we might have expected.
Oh, absolutely, I was just about to say that Malta have certainly come here to give it a go. They're getting men forward on every occasion that they can, trying to force Pickford into making saves, force England backwards. At the moment England haven't capitalised on spaces maybe left on the counter-attack. England haven't counter-attacked well at all tonight.
However, Alexander-Arnold has already caught the eye. Phil Foden as well has been really bright. I don't know about you, Leon, I thought when he got into the penalty area, when England took the lead, I thought Foden could have had a go himself rather than looking to square it.
Yeah, I thought he would, but maybe because it was on that right foot and he was picking his head up. He's so unselfish in those areas in general. How many times do we see he's got the shirt of Manchester City on, getting them position. They're always looking to pick out a striker. They're always looking for that tap in. And he got it in an inadvertent way, but put England ahead all the same.
This is 5 Live from the BBC. Listen as well via BBC Sounds. We've got two men who played for Everton and England with us tonight. It's almost as if we'd planned it. Here's Trippier. Well, we did plan it, obviously, but with the day's events. Here it is back with Gay on the halfway line. Maguire now out to the left-hand side to Tomori. I will bring Connor in on Tomori. In fact, let's do that now. What about that position for Tomori, Connor, moving across to left-back?
I'll be honest with you, it's not something I'd want to do. As a centre-back, it's a tough position to play, and we said before the game we don't really know whether he's done it before, so to go and do it for England at Wembley is a tough job to ask. But listen, I think he's a top player. I think he really is. I think he's done fantastic for Milan, and I think he'll take to it. But yeah, like I said, it's not something I'd like to do, but when you get asked to do it, you go and do a job there without a doubt.
England leading 1-0, but Malta in possession inside their own half, and it is Gulaimir, the central midfielder, and then back to goalkeeper Bonello, who actually got something on the deflection for the own goal. Came off Foden, hit Pepe, deflected goalwards. He got quite a big touch on it, but couldn't prevent it looping after his touch behind him and into the net. England with Henderson with a little touch. Foden nips in there first. Rashford now back into the centre circle, and here is Alexander-Arnold again, driving the ball towards the edge of the penalty area to Kane. Defender was in there, looped up back towards the goal line where it was caught by the goalkeeper Bonello. So 1-0 to England. If you have just switched on, if you were working late on a Friday night, caught in the traffic or whatever, the three uncapped players who were drafted into the squad, the late call-ups, they're all on the bench tonight, so we might see them. And I just noticed as well a paper aeroplane coming down from the corner of the stadium on the far side, which, if you remember, all the way back to Gareth Southgate's first match in charge, that was one of the things that he's never forgotten, how it was a paper aeroplane night when England won by 2-0 against Malta. And one of the things that he frequently references is the fact that they've put the paper aeroplane days behind them. But here we are in his 90th match, and we've had the first paper aeroplane of the night. Gareth Southgate's 90th match as the England manager. Ball out towards the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold in towards Foden. Bounces back to Alexander-Arnold, who takes a touch into the penalty area, but it was well ahead of him, and Pepe was able to come across and just deflect it out for a throw.
Yeah, they've been the bright players, haven't they, so far in this game? Trent Alexander-Arnold, Phil Foden down this right-hand side. Kieran Trippier more as backup rather than getting ahead and getting high and wide as I expected to see him in the game, but not had an awful lot, if anything, down the left-hand side. Marcus Rashford and Tomori haven't quite figured out how to make anything work in that area. All of England's best attacks have come down this right-hand side.
Well, we're getting the full house now. We've had paper aeroplanes, and now we're getting the Mexican wave. Here's Tomori with the ball on the halfway line. Pickford, who's been a lot busier than he might have thought he would be this evening. Very nearly beaten in the first minute. Alexander-Arnold quite advanced now, plays it square to Harry Kane of Bayern Munich in England. Now out to Rashford on the left-hand side. Rashford trying to find a way into the box. Two defenders are there, and in the end the right wing-back Joseph Mbong went to ground, was scrambling almost on all fours to sweep it out with his right foot for an England corner.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford is asking for a free kick. I actually think the referee's right on this one. I think he was trying to play it through a space that wasn't necessarily there, but in the scramble to get back, Malta have given away a corner. He can be dangerous even in those situations. Marcus Rashford, and England won a corner.
Yep. Foden to take it from the left-hand side. Players lined up, one behind the other. That's an old England routine. Connor's probably been involved in it. Here it comes from Foden, but caught by Bonello on the edge of the 6-yard box, who will deliver it downfield. This is for the run of Kamanzuli, but Kieran Trippier was there and heads it back towards the edge of the penalty area. He needed Gay to be there, and now it is back to Jordan Pickford, who I think, Leon, if Jordan Pickford had been beaten in the first minute after the events of the afternoon regarding his club Everton, I think he will have thought to himself, what on earth is going to happen next? However, the shot was narrowly wide, and now Tauma chips it over the top of Trippier. Kamanzuli's onto this, but Gay was across as the cover, but it's come out off the Crystal Palace man and behind for another Maltese corner.
Yeah, not only would Jordan Pickford have been really upset, it would have really put England on the back foot, because Malta have played well in this game. England may be fortunate to be ahead with that deflected own goal, and Malta have probably caused more problems to England than England have the other way. And And Guehi dealing with that situation. He's been the best player of England's back four so far. Great to see him solve that problem.
But they do not look like a team that has lost 7 out of 7 in the group. This is their last group match, 5-team group. So they complete their schedule of matches tonight. Declan Rice is warming up, applauding the England fans. Tauma with the corner for Malta. Maguire stretching, got his head to it, bounces out. Gallagher takes it on. He was brought down as he took the ball away. He got a touch. The referee allowed play to continue, but yellow card shown for that challenge by Steve Borge, the captain, and well done the referee actually in that instance. Gave Gallagher the chance to see if an advantage developed. He didn't, brought it back, yellow card.
Yeah, good play all round. I think that it was good from Conor Gallagher. Good, the referee tried to allow him to play on, but he brought the situation back and gave out the yellow card. But good that from a Malta point of view, they had to thwart that attack. He would have taken a yellow card in that position.
Yeah, correction, actually, it's Gulaim who put in the challenge. He's yellow carded. Foden now back to Alexander-Arnold, who sort of scooped it goalwards, coming at him at pace. I think he was just trying to dink it in, wasn't he? Gallagher was arriving, but got underneath it and sent it skied over the...
Yeah, I think he was caught in two minds. Again, the two main players that you mentioned is Phil Foden and Trent Alexander-Arnold, when they're linking up together, finding spaces, getting turned. I can't tell if Trent was trying to cross that or shoot. He got caught in the middle of both, and unlike him, sent it sailing over the crossbar.
Crucial goal for Poland, winning 1-0 against the Czechs in Group E. That's the group in which Albania have qualified tonight. They drew 1-1 earlier against Moldova, so Albania already through. Poland and Czech Republic really vying for the other automatic space in that group. And in this group, Italy winning 1-0 against North Macedonia in Rome tonight. Ball down the right-hand side for Malta, but I'm not sure Joseph Mbong's going to reach that. No, he's not. It's out of play for a throw-in to England, halfway inside their own half. So that does set things up. If Italy are able to win that against North Macedonia, on Monday it is Ukraine against Italy in Germany, where Ukraine are playing this match in Leverkusen. What a night that promises to be. North Macedonia for us, and for England on Monday night. 5 Live, the place to listen to that when England will round off a very successful campaign. England top of the group with 5 wins and a draw out of the 6 matches played. 1-0 up here, but only 1-0. And Malta are carrying a threat. And here they come. Tauma does well again. Kamanzuli on the left-hand side. Little ball towards the edge of the penalty area. Here's the debutant, Kemar Reid. He's been a Maltese citizen for only a matter of weeks. This is his first cap. Ball played in by Tauma. Headed away for England by Maguire. Down into the full-back position, where Mark Gay does very well, actually, under pressure. And England are passing it out from the back. Alexander-Arnold threads it through the eye of a needle to Foden. Back to Alexander-Arnold. Kane does well. He turns. Steve Borge gives it out to the left-hand side to Rashford. Rashford running at Joseph Mbong, who is able to get a foot on it and deflected behind as the ball runs away for a corner.
Yeah, nearly England's best move of the game. Back to front. Yeah, he winning the ball back. Great intricate play between Phil Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold, as we're saying. Rap pass into Harry Kane. He got turned on the halfway line. Played Marcus Rashford in. 1v1 going into the penalty area, but he was thwarted. Best move from England so far.
More and more paper aeroplanes now. 3, 4, 5. I'm seeing another one which is actually being brilliantly constructed, because it's still flying, and it's actually 15 yards back from the corner flag. Here's the corner. Maguire with a header, but the referee spotted some England pushing inside the area. And even though Maguire headed wide, Mark Gay, I think, has been penalised for that. And it's a free kick to Malta. England 1, Malta 0. Latest thoughts from you, Conor Cody?
I think it's been a game, like I said, I think now we look a little bit more comfortable. I think Malta have been quite good, to be honest with you. They've used the width really well. 5 at the back is massive for switching the play, and I actually think they've done it quite well. But going back to the set pieces you were saying before, England spend hours on set pieces in training. Day of a game, you go through meetings upon meetings, so with set pieces they're vital for England. But I actually think Malta have done quite well, like I said, with the wing backs and playing the back 5. But I think it's important we try and turn the screw a little bit second half. I think it's important that we get a foothold in the game and really try and put it to bed a little bit.
Thank you, Conor. Yeah, might explore that a little further later about the work that England put in on set pieces, but they're playing the ball out from the back. Leon?
Yeah, I mean, talking about Malta playing well, I don't think I've seen an England team not understanding the roles as much as I have tonight. The amount of players I'm seeing look at each other with their arms out and questioning, is that my job, is that your job? Marcus Rashford certainly can't work out if he should be tracking the runner all the way back. Conor Gallagher's coming into positions and asking people around him, is this where I should be? I've seen so many England games and everybody knows what they're doing, and yes, there's been a turn around of some positions, and Tomori's position, playing left back but coming in centrally. The midfield aren't quite fully understand, but I've not seen so many players asking if they're in the right as in a game for England.
Here's Gallagher. Under pressure is able to work it back to Henderson. Important players missing for England tonight, Stones and Bellingham. But England, obviously Rice as well, who's on the bench. Here is Trippier on the right-hand side. You call those players first choice players for England, and actually a little bit like the Australia game last month, the friendly against Australia, which is a very disjointed display. Occasions like that and like this make you appreciate Jude Bellingham's skills all the more. Here's Gallagher playing the ball, but it's one side of Rashford, who has to turn it back to the halfway line. Gay now to Jordan Henderson, who goes back into his own half to stand in left back. Tomori. It's a bit of an Achilles heel for England at the moment, with Shaw and Chilwell both out injured, and Colwell obviously had to pull out of this squad as well, otherwise I'm sure we'd have seen him operating at left back tonight with the players at England's disposal. Gareth Southgate's mentioned on a number of times Henry of Brentford, who's out injured at the moment. Dan Burn might have had a chance this month had he not been injured as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a position that's been frustrating for us for a number of seasons, about nailing somebody down, getting 20 games consistently in that position because of injuries and maybe a lack of form, less so, but certainly injuries. I mean, you've got the two left-footed players that you would naturally think, and Shaw and Chilwell, who are out at the moment, but Trippier's done a brilliant job when he's had to go over there, but we know he's better on the right. It's been an Achilles heel.
Yep. Luke Shaw not a million miles away from coming back, though, for Manchester United, I believe. Here's Foden. England winning 1-0, an own goal, an 8th minute own goal from Enrico Pepe. Now you heard it, 1 minute at the end of this first half. All of us thought that England should have had a penalty when Harry Kane was booked for diving. That's possibly been the most noteworthy moment of the first half, apart from, of course, the opening goal. Here's Gallagher of Chelsea. Starts virtually every match for Chelsea under Mauricio Pochettino. Now, Gay, still in the centre circle. Henderson. Italy are now 2-0 up on North Macedonia in Rome. Federico Chiesa with the second goal shortly before half-time. So 2-0 to Italy, who lost here last month. England winning at Wembley against Italy for the first time since 1977 to clinch qualification. Foden's low ball in towards the edge of the box. Gallagher in quite an advanced position, but he's lost out to Teddy Tauma, who himself was put under pressure by Henderson, but Malta have played it well out to the left-hand side. Kamanzuli infield, and that's it, as Malta break over the halfway line. Referee Godinho says that's enough for the first 45 minutes, and just the 1-0 to England at half-time against the world-ranked 171 Malta, Leon Osman.
And they'll be pleased to be going in 1-0 at half-time. It's not been the most comfortable of 45 minutes for England, and yet, as all good teams do, you find yourself getting a goal at an important time and going in 1-0 ahead. I think Malta have presented some questions for England, certainly putting them on the back foot at times. England haven't had the answers to. I think Malta will be quite pleased to be going in this half after that first half performance. England will be better, I expect, in the second half. England may and will score more goals, but it was an uncomfortable 45 minutes.
And more to come in a moment with Darren, but a quick summation, Connor, on your thoughts on the first half?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing from our point of view is I think we've been a little bit sloppy. I completely agree with what Ozzy's saying about kind of players maybe not knowing the roles a little bit of a different team, seeing players out of position a little bit. Midfield hasn't really played together that much, but I think the biggest thing is we've been a little bit sloppy. Passes haven't really been that clean, being a little bit bobbly, and I think it's important we just tidy that up a little bit, just to kind of, like I said before, about getting a foothold in the game. But that was the biggest thing taken away from me, is just the kind of sloppiness in possession, losing balls you don't really expect the England team to do.
So there we are, half-time here at Wembley. England 1, Malta 0. Darren.
Yeah, thank you, John. England fans aren't too happy by what they've seen. Andy from Swindon. England seems scared of the Maltese press. Can't get out of our own half mostly. Tomori's struggling. Hasn't made a forward pass yet. Now booked. Need to get him off. Poor from England so far. Neil says, sitting here at Wembley thinking that Malta are playing the more progressive football, not endlessly passing it between the back four. And David says it was a dive. Kane planted his foot out to the left to touch the keeper, who was staying clear of contact. Connor, does the midfield look right to you? I mean, they don't seem to be flowing, do they? They're finding it hard at the minute to get the ball to the front players.
Yeah, I think it looks a little bit like they haven't played together. That I think we've all kind of looked at Trent and we're all waiting to see that kind of pattern. We've seen a little glimpses, the pass over to Harry in the first half, so we've seen little glimpses, but the biggest thing for me is that it looks like the lads haven't really played together in there, which is the case. So I think we can see it. But like I said, just at the end of the first half, I think the biggest thing for me is just being clean on the ball, just keeping the ball on the floor. There's a few bobbles being played, there's a few passes going astray, and little things like that, and that just ekes into your performance then. So I think it's important we try and clean things up a little bit.
Do you think he changes things at half-time, Leon? Gives one or two people a chance to play in the second half? I mean, the result, as you've all said during the first half, is going to be academic eventually, but do you think he looks at this now and says, look, I've got 45 minutes, let's freshen it up, give one or two players an opportunity to try and impress him?
Yeah, I think he would have always had the plan in his mind to make changes. Whether he makes a lot of changes at half-time, I would certainly doubt. Whether Harry Kane allows himself to come off, you know what he's like, he's not scored yet, so we won't want to leave the field until he has. I think the key has been, you're right, Fletcher, when you talk about the balance in midfield. I don't think it's been there. I think Malta have done a really good job of seeing Conor Gallagher marking a guy and then realising he needs to run forward. Malta are getting in behind. I think the balance down the left-hand side for England has clearly not worked, with Tomori coming centrally far too much and Marcus Rashford not intent on going and standing and being with his heels on the touchline to give England that balance. England haven't had anybody really down that left-hand side, so maybe Gareth Southgate looks at bringing on somebody else down that left-hand side, somebody who will play wide, somebody who enjoys playing in those positions. But you know, whether he makes that change directly at half-time without just giving them a chance with a bit of information to work on it first.
Thank you, fellas. Have a break. Second half to come. Let's hope it's better in the second half. We'll rejoin the team at Wembley shortly. Italy 3-up against North Macedonia at half-time in their game tonight. Coming up, Sam Vokes is going to be here to look forward to Wales' crucial Euro 2024 qualifier against Armenia tomorrow. And Rosanna Tennant's going to be telling us how a drain cover caused havoc at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. That's after the latest news on 5 Live from Giuliano Cassidy.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Aid agencies say Israel's decision to allow 2 fuel lorries into Gaza each day is nowhere near enough to meet basic needs. Israel's security advisor says it's sufficient to power water and sewage services and restore communications. The main UN agency for Palestinian refugees says 70% of people have no access to clean water in South Gaza. Toby Fricker is from UNICEF.
It's a matter of life and death, let's say, for children, civilians inside the Gaza Strip. It's essential for obvious reasons to be able to move our humanitarian supplies around, so deliver medical supplies, food, water, etc. But it's also critical for the hospitals themselves to be able to operate, for the water desalination plants that produce safe water to be able to operate. Fuel is absolutely essential and needs to come in at a much higher level very quickly.
Families and friends of people being held hostage by Hamas are continuing to call for their release as they march from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. The journey of around 43 miles will end at the office of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu tomorrow. The White House has condemned Elon Musk for appearing to promote anti-Semitic posts on his social media site X. Mr. Musk has denied being anti-Semitic. Earlier, the tech company IBM paused adverts on the platform over concerns they were being run alongside pro-Nazi content. A man's been given a life sentence for murdering the Irish school teacher Aisling Murphy in County Offaly. The 23-year-old was stabbed by Joseph Pushka while she was out jogging last January. In a victim statement, her boyfriend Ryan Casey said the pain of losing someone so important is indescribable. And the BBC's been told the Chancellor is thinking of cutting inheritance and business taxes in next week's autumn statement. Jeremy Hunt has previously said tax cuts are virtually impossible and instead warned of very difficult decisions.
On BBC iPlayer. This is Janet and Samuel.
I've gambled away my entire life savings.
Everything I thought I had. It's all nothing.
They'd hit rock bottom. Then one day, a boat washed up, full of contraband.
You want to take it?
You telling me you can't use a few million quid?
Now there's a sharp-suited gangster after them.
Call me the tailor. Violence speaks louder than words, no?
They'll need to lose him or lose their lives.
What are we going to do?
We need to leave now.
Two strangers, one boat, nothing to lose. Boat Story. Starts Sunday on BBC iPlayer.
This is 5 Live Sports with Darren Fletcher.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
Second half commentary to come then of England against Malta, live from Wembley. England 1-up at half-time thanks to an own goal in the first half. Over on Sports Extra right now, it's Bath 17, Bristol Bears 7. That's in the Gallagher Premiership. Now, if you go to the F1 page of the BBC Sport website, there are articles next to each other titled The Las Vegas Grand Prix, a plan 40 years in the making, and track issues cause chaos in Las Vegas practice. 5 Live Formula One presenter Rosanna Tennant is with us. Rosanna, things didn't go very well last night, did they, during practice? Talk us through what happened.
No, you're right. The juxtaposition of those two articles almost tell you everything you need to know. There was chaos about 7 or 8 minutes into the first practice session of the weekend. Everyone was so excited. We'd all arrived in Las Vegas with hype and excitement about going racing on the Strip. Formula One has closed the Strip in Las Vegas. Can you imagine that? And then 7 minutes in, a water valve cover popped up and hit 2 of the F1 cars, damaging them so badly that their chassis have had to be changed. We then stopped the session. We were told it would not resume, and then we had to wait for several hours to find out when the FP2, the second practice session, would get underway. It was originally billed for midnight local time, already a bit of a stretch. We finally got going at 2:30 a.m. with an elongated session of 90 minutes. It's normally 60 minutes, so we got a little bit of extra running, which meant we finished at 4 o'clock in the paddock, and of course after that there was still a lot of data to go through, so a really difficult day for everybody involved in Formula One after, as you say, 40 years in the making. Something so tiny as a water valve cover popping open, stopping the show.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily small. I mean, it could have been quite dangerous had it not happened the way that it did. And you say that they've closed the Strip. I mean, they have to a point, but then they open it again, don't they, so people can use it. It all seems quite a strange situation from the outside looking in, that it's not just completely closed for the weekend and Formula One have got it all to themselves.
Yeah, you're right. It is a strange concept, these street circuits. This is a characteristic of it. We have it in Monaco, we have it in Baku, we have it in Singapore. But this track is reopened, a bit like Monaco, whereas Singapore stays shut to the general public throughout the weekend. So it's tricky. You have road traffic throughout the day. Obviously, those cars can be dropping oil throughout the day. So there's lots that could go wrong, but I don't think people are expecting it to be a manhole cover popping open, perhaps just a little bit of debris, maybe a plastic bag here or there. But you're right, such a small thing could cause huge damage. And in this case, it's cost them a lot of money to replace these cars. Ferrari boss Fred Vasseur saying it's cost us an absolute fortune, and they've been penalised, such is the weird way the rules of Formula One work. So Carlos Sainz, who took the damage, he's also taking a 10-place grid penalty for the race as well.
Yeah. And what about what we've gleaned so far? You say that they're able to practice there for an hour and a half. What did you glean from that in terms of who's on the pace and who isn't?
Well, it looks like it's advantage Ferrari, which we don't say very much in 2023. It was Charles Leclerc who topped the timings yesterday, and Fernando Alonso in P2 in the Aston Martin ahead of the second Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. So advantage Ferrari, Max Verstappen a little off the pace, but we know he comes good over the course of the race weekend. So who knows, maybe the cream will rise to the top once more.
OK, Rosanna, thank you. Reminded to set your alarms for 4:25 on Saturday morning. Manholes, roads, oil on the track permitting. Live commentary of third practice on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds, and it's qualifying, fingers crossed, from 7:55. So England and Scotland are now certain of being in Germany next summer, but can Wales also book their place? In Group D, Turkey have secured qualification, but the race to join them looks set to go right down to the wire. Wales will make it if they beat Armenia, and Croatia suffer an unexpected defeat away to Latvia. Commentary of Armenia, Wales on 5 Live Sport tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Delighted to say that the Wales striker Sam Vokes is with us on the programme tonight. Sam, good evening.
Evening, mate. You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. So, I mean, look, there's work to do, but Wales' fate is in their own hands. They've just got to make sure they get the job done.
Yeah, it is. And to be honest with you, that's all we could have hoped for. I think how last June panned out with the unexpected loss to Armenia at home, a bad night for Wales, and that followed up by a loss in Turkey as well. So it all looked out of our hands, really. And then, not the surprise, because I know what it can be like for Wales at home on a Tuesday night, and that huge result against Croatia last time out put it back in our hands. And the boys have got a big job to do tomorrow in Armenia, but full of faith for them.
Brennan Johnson back fit, which is important, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a huge player for us. And I think, to be honest with you, that's the only headache Robert Page has got going into this, because the team that performed against Croatia and got that huge result last time out, you'd probably expect to go again. But Brennan Johnson wasn't fit for that game. So I think he's probably the only headache. I don't know if he slots in, maybe behind Kiefer Moore. But if not, he's a great player to come off the bench.
I mean, this is such a golden era as well, isn't it, for the Welsh team at international level? The opportunity to reach a fourth major tournament out of 5 with a group of players who consistently perform really well in the qualifiers now. Yeah, of course. And look, that's the expectation those players have got on their shoulders now. Wales didn't qualify for a tournament for 54 years, and suddenly we're talking about the 4th out of 5 tournaments. So it's that's the expectation them boys have got going into the game tomorrow. And for the fans as well, look, we've qualified for the last 2 tournaments. The last Euros was in lockdown, and obviously the World Cup in Qatar, it was hard to get out to. So those fans will be desperate to hop over the water again like they did to France in Euro 2016. You know how this kind of situation manifests itself because you've been involved in it. But I suppose when you're a country, as you mentioned, who find it impossible to qualify for a major tournament, and every year the question gets asked and it must get in players' minds, the opposite must be the case, though, now, that this group of players must think, look, we are now a tournament nation. We're a tournament team. We know how to handle the qualifiers. The maturation of this group has been so impressive. Well, that's exactly it. And I mentioned the expectation before, and now Wales have got that on their shoulders. Talk about Malta tonight against England. I remember first being involved with Wales, and we were ranked over 100 in the world, and that expectation wasn't really there. But now it is, and those players have got to deal with it. It's a nice position to be in because we were always the underdog, but now we're going into a game tomorrow night as favourites and needing to get the win. It's going to be a tough night out there. I think Armenia haven't qualified for a tournament, so they're going to look to get the win to come level points with Wales, and it's going to be a huge night. And there's a huge night against Turkey next Tuesday, but that's one we can't even mention until the boys hopefully get the job done tomorrow. Sam, great to talk to you tonight as always. Thanks for coming on. Cheers, Fetch. Cheers, mate. Thank you, Sam. That's Sam Vokes, the Wales striker. Fingers crossed that Wales can join Scotland and England at the Euros next summer. Wouldn't it be magnificent again to get 3 of the home nations in that tournament next summer? I'm just looking, Conor Cody, at the screen. It looks as though there are changes coming here for England. Is Conor listening? Has he got his headphones on? Connor's there. That, mate. Yeah, changes coming. Just caught you mid-conversation there, as I like to do. Yeah. Changes coming, I noticed.
Yeah, there is, yeah. We were speaking about it obviously at half-time and different things, and I think obviously seeing Walks come on and then Bukayo come on as well, I think the 2 obviously positive changes and fantastic footballers coming on, yeah. OK, John Murray, Leon Osman and of course Ian Dennis to take you through the second half.
Cheers, Darren. Yeah, the 2 players who've come off, Kyle Walker's come on as well as Bukayo Saka, and Gallagher has gone off, and Fikayo Tomori has gone off. So Kieran Trippier now switches to left back. Kyle Walker obviously at right back in front of Jordan Pickford, with Gehi and Maguire as the 2 central defenders. And then you've got Alexander-Arnold, Henderson, Saka, Foden, Kane and Rashford. So Leon Osman, that's a clear sign, I would think, that Gareth Southgate wants England to show a little bit more.
Yeah, and I think that it's a clear sign that what he tried to do down the left-hand side in the first half didn't work, of having Tomori play really centrally alongside Maguire and Gehi. So by moving this Kieran Trippier over to the left-hand side, we're going to have somebody now that wants to be in this wide position, that wants to venture down the left-hand side, give us a bit more balance. I think the other swap allows us to see Phil Foden in that number 10 position. Bukayo Saka will go out on that right-hand side where Phil Foden was, and Phil Foden will come in one now, playing in there with Henderson and Trent Alexander-Arnold, and those two of those three, Trent and Foden, were England's best players in the first half.
Well, it was Foden's touch and then his cross that led to the only goal of the game, being run in off the legs of one of the three central defenders, Enrico Pepe. Malta in their red shirts, white shorts, playing from left to right as we look here in our commentary position at Wembley Stadium, with Bonello in goal. Steve Borges, Jean Borges and Enrico Pepe, the three central defenders. Mbong, Guillemire, Tauma Kamanzuli and Yannick Yankam, with Kemal Reid and Paul Mbong are the two up front for Malta, who are trying to avoid losing all of their qualifiers for the first time since Euro 2000. That was the last time they had a 100% losing record, although their record in major qualifying tournaments is abysmal. Just 4 wins in 11 previous major qualifiers. 4 wins, 14 draws, 92 defeats at the start of this campaign, so this would be a 100th defeat during that little spell for Malta. And Michel Marcolini, who's only been in the job for not even a year actually. He's had a couple of successes in friendlies, but Malta bottom of the group. But they've got another opportunity now here with Kemal Reid, and he will drive forward, plays the ball back to Tauma, 30 yards out from goal, plays the ball out towards that far side. This is Paul Mbong, looks to go on the outside, and with the cutback, and there was Trent Alexander-Arnold inside the penalty area to clear the ball away.
Yeah, from this performance from Malta, I'd say that record is set to improve. I think they've been good. I think they've played in good areas of the pitch. They all seem to know their job, and they break really well. They haven't found the end product that we've seen yet, though, that you want for a team yet. England have recovered really well, and England do have outstanding defensive players. So Malta have found it difficult, but I think it's respect to Malta and what they've done in this first half, the changes England have made. They haven't brought on Cole Palmer, they haven't brought on other players that are less experienced. They brought on Kaya Saka and Kyle Walker. They brought on some of their first team players, and Gareth Southgate wants to see an improved England, and he wants to see more goals in the scoreline. That's
the voice of Leon Osman, former England international, who's with us here at Wembley, BBC Radio 5 Live and BBC Sounds. Malta trailing by 1-0. They've never won away in a European Championship qualifying campaign in 59 previous attempts. They've lost 54 of those. In fact, they've lost their last 11 qualifiers in succession. As Rashford inside to Jordan Henderson. No adverse reaction, or I didn't hear anything for Jordan Henderson here at Wembley Stadium. He passes the ball to Trippier, who's now switched at left back after playing the first half on the other side. Maguire lays it off towards the Newcastle player, and Trippier hits that towards Kyle Walker, brings it down superbly off his right foot, now runs forward, links up with Alexander-Arnold in a central area. Diagonal ball finds Foden, lays it back to Alexander-Arnold, who passes in a little interchange there with Marcus Rashford, who teases his man as he tries to accelerate and burst into the left side of the penalty area, and it will be a corner kick for England.
It's great when you see what I call proper footballers within distance of each other, and the instinct they have and the crisp quality play that they have. You've got Saka now on the pitch, and you're playing close to Foden and Trent. The play that they don't even think about it sometimes. They know where they're going to be, they know where they would run in that position, and they expect their teammate to run accordingly. It's good to see.
Phil Foden with the outswinging corner. Harry Maguire tries to get on the end of it. He was challenged, the ball looped up in the air and caught by Henry Bonello. Conor, I know we've only been playing for 5 minutes into the second half. What are your thoughts at this early stage?
The biggest thing to me is we just seem to up tempo a little bit. I've just noticed from the balls going out of play, throw-ins, corners, we just seem to be being that little bit quicker, and I don't know if it's something the gaffer said at half-time about just upping the tempo a little bit, trying to put them under a little bit of pressure. I also want to ask Ozzy what a proper footballer is, to be honest with you.
I'll describe that as the game goes on. No, but I think with touching on what Connor's said there is, he's talking about a bit more pressure on the ball. I think England are now playing from positions they're all comfortable with and they all know, and it's so much easier to press when you're completely understanding your position. You know who's going to be behind you, as we've seen so far in the second half.
Harry Kane running forward, drifting out towards the right-hand side, right corner of the area. The England captain turns. And in the end, they've been surrounded by the red shirts and he's been dispossessed. Townwell on that far side prods it forward. Paul and Bong plays it out towards Kamanzuli. Diagonal ball now to Gulimir in the midfield. The Czech Republic have equalised in Poland. Now that's in Group E. As the ball from Trippier towards Rashford runs out of play for a goal kick. Albania earlier actually qualified. They were the 11th team to qualify for Euro 2024, and indeed the draw will be held in Hamburg on December the 2nd. John will be there for BBC Radio 5 Live to bring you news of that. But the Czech themselves could qualify tonight if they win in Poland, and Thomas Souček has got that equaliser in Poland as it's currently 1-1. We've got further commentaries to bring you with the Euro 2024 qualifiers. Armenia-Wales tomorrow afternoon, part of 5 Live Sport, on air as always with Mark Chapman from midday. That's at 2 o'clock, that crucial qualifier where Wales really do need to win their 2 remaining games. We will of course be in Cardiff on Tuesday night for that game against Turkey, as Foden now runs forward. Foden in a central area, passes the ball towards Rashford. Rashford wriggles clear. Rashford enters the penalty area, goes to ground, and the referee, well, he's certainly not a homer, is he, this referee? Once again, he gives a free kick to Malta.
Yeah, and I think he's probably just about got this right as well, the referee. A great play again from England, winning the ball back in a much more organised position, getting forward well. Foden, brilliant, and then plays the ball to Marcus Rashford, who gets a little bit of luck initially with a bit of a ricochet, and that tries to nutmeg Pepe at the back, who just holds his ground. He just sticks his body out, he's strong, he doesn't allow Marcus Rashford to go past him, and then Marcus Rashford sort of gets on top of his back in his desperation to get round him and get the ball back, and the referee gives him a free kick. I think he got that one right, but I'm not the defender here, Connor.
I was going to say, it's top. I can't believe you're not giving the defender some credit there. I thought it was a top bit of defending, coming up 1v1 against Marcus Rashford.
Reed with the back heel, cross from Kamanzuli, unable to control it was Paul and Bong. They have attacked, and there have been a number of attacks with plenty of promise for Malta. At times they're belying their status as the 171st team in the world.
Yeah, they've not showed it. I said before that if they play like this, they'll start to get results a lot more often than we've seen. They have to. They've lacked a little bit of composure in the final third. They've not been clinical in picking out the right pass or getting a shot away with the quality that you need to beat a Jordan Pickford, but they've certainly been organised, thwarted England quite regularly, and broke really, really well in behind that England midfield. The 2 up front that they played with today have caused England all sorts of problems on that counter-attack.
They've been inspired by this famous stadium, Wembley Stadium. I was even speaking to the physio last night, Luke. He was saying that he hopes not a serious injury, but he hoped that there would be an injury at some stage just for him to run onto the pitch here at Wembley Stadium. He's also going to seek out Aaron Ramsdale after the game, because he's a massive Arsenal fan, and his 9-year-old boy has drawn a picture of Aaron Ramsdale with it a little message: "You're still my number one." And his son has been badgering him, saying, "Have you seen him yet?" So that's his task for after the game. I don't think there's been an injury yet to a Malta player, has there?
No, I don't think there has. I think it's been competitive. I think Malta have actually put themselves about a lot more than England have, tried to get close to that England midfield, certainly. Trent Alexander-Arnold was on the end of a few of those challenges.
Ball played out from the back by Borges. Alexander-Arnold just comes across, gets it there from Tauma, and the challenge comes in from the midfielder, but he's passed the ball out towards Kyle Walker. Saka has actually drifted into a central area. Here is the Arsenal player. There's Bukayo Saka now running forward. Look to the return ball towards Foden in that central area, but Tauma will play the ball away. And Reed, now with Kamanzuli on that far side, the left. Yannick is also a rapper and a model, so he's multi-talented. The Malta midfielders now they're going to be making a number of changes. A double change is going to be made by Malta. England still lead by 1-0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're going to see Bjorn Christensen come on, as here is Harry Kane, side onto goal, holds the ball up, lays it out towards the far side. Kyle Walker trotting forward joins the attack, stops, passes the ball inside towards Jordan Henderson, now across towards Marcus Rashford. closed down by Josie van Bon, goes on the outside of him towards the byline, plays it across, and then it was cleared away by Steve Borge, the Malta captain, as now the changes can be made. Leon.
It's the first time we've really seen Marcus Rashford able to find himself in that position and show the quality we know he has. He dropped his shoulder, put the burners on, got to the touchline, but unfortunately for him, he tried to go front post. England's two players in the penalty area both went middle and back, and Marcus Rashford couldn't pick them out, but we need to see more of that from Marcus Rashford.
Saka inside, the return ball by Alexander-Arnold, and Bukayo Saka puts it wide. He was closed down, and indeed it's gone behind for a corner kick. Still Malta yet to make the change. Bjorn Christensen, and Jody Jones is the other player, the Notts County player, formerly of Coventry City. He already has happy memories indeed of Wembley Stadium, because when Notts County clinched promotion back to the Football League against Chesterfield in that shootout 4-3, he was one of the successful penalty takers that particular day. So Jody Jones coming on for what will be his 10th appearance for Malta. Denmark are leading Slovenia by 2-1. That would mean that Denmark would be qualifying for Euro 2024. Corner kick, it's an outswinger over everybody's heads and then hooked away by Kamanzuli, only as far as Walker, lifts it out towards that side. Rashford brings it under control, and then England will work it back, and Italy now lead North Macedonia by 3-1. So in England's Group C, they're going to move level with Ukraine on 13 points, and that will certainly set up an intriguing final game, as that's a lovely ball by Alexander-Arnold, and this is an opportunity for Rashford. Can't get the shot away, it might fall towards Saka, but there was Pepe diving in with a clearance. Alexander-Arnold reads it, runs forward, bounces into his own player, and they've actually stayed down, the two England players, as Malta try and bring it clear, and then England are back in possession. It was Rashford's actually stayed down. Alexander-Arnold at least is back to his feet.
Yeah, it was an incredible contact from the pair of them. And both had their eyes on the ball. The ball came out of the sky. Trent Alexander-Arnold, as he controlled it, bounced up, and he tried to control it with the bottom of his boots, his studs, and in doing so you don't have the same control with your touch, and it just got away from him. He sprinted after it, full pelting. Just as he thought he was about to make his next touch, Marcus Rashford came in to control it himself, and the pair of them just clattered into each other. But that came after a nearly brilliant goal from England, with those two players at the heart of it. Trent Alexander-Arnold, crossfield diagonal pass to the incoming Marcus Rashford. Good touch initially with the right foot coming in from that right-hand side. Just couldn't get his shot away.
Matthew Gillamere is coming off. 10 years ago he had trials at Birmingham, West Bromwich Albion. He now plays his football in Poland. He's going to be replaced by Bjorn Christensen in the midfield, and then the other change is going to be up front with Paul and Bong coming off, and that means that Jody Jones, the Notts County player, a London lad, will come on to replace him, and Marcus Rashford is still down, which is all. Has he been winded, do you think? Declan Rice is going to be coming on. What do you think, Connor?
I don't really know, something's obviously happened, but going back to obviously Trent, we've seen little glimpses of his passing range in this game, but just again there, just dropping it onto Rashford's chest, his range is unbelievable, and half the time you'd expect him to drive into space, but he doesn't. He'd rather pass it, and there's been spells where he could have drove into space in this game, and he finds a pass that he can land on anyone's toe. He's a fantastic player, yeah.
England are going to be making a change, and Cole Palmer is one of the players who's going to be coming on. Gareth Southgate, during his reign, this is his 90th game as England manager, and during that time he's used 92 different players, and he's given out 59 debuts. Well, Cole Palmer is going to add to that. He gets a little handshake from the England manager, a pat on the left shoulder, a word of encouragement, and Cole Palmer, who scored here at Wembley in the Community Shield for Manchester City, has been in good form for Chelsea since that move. He spoke to the media the other day, as John said to Gareth Southgate last night when he was live on 5 Live, a man of few words, but he's certainly a talented player. And in fact, Jordan Henderson also has a word there with Cole Palmer, as Declan Rice comes on for Jordan Henderson. So Rice is on, and Cole Palmer has replaced Marcus Rashford. So what a proud moment. And I remember watching you with your debut. In fact, yours was behind closed doors, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was
Copenhagen.
Denmark away. And listen, one of the proudest moments of my life, and an incredible moment for me and my family. And what Parma will be going through there, it'll be absolutely incredible. And listen, the adrenaline will be through the roof, and what a moment for him, yeah.
In fact, you two have something else in common as well as formerly playing at Everton. Don't roll your eyes at me like that, Leon.
Go on.
Well, no, because you made yours. So Connor's made his debut against Denmark. Yours was against Sweden.
It was, yeah, away. And in that game where Zlatan decided to score 4.
That's right.
Yeah, that was.
And one of them was an absolute pearler from 45 yards out.
I got to see that from really close up. And yeah, it was. We were winning 2-1 going into the last stages until he decided in the opening of that stadium he wanted to make a mark, and he certainly did. But going back to Cole Palmer, it's testament to how he's played this season, how he's taken that move to Chelsea, how he's enjoyed being a centrepiece for Chelsea, but also he's a product of England's youth system. He's been through the tournament in the under-21s, and not too long back Gareth Southgate seeing his progression, now clearly feels he's ready, and he's knows exactly how England would want him to play.
Well, that Scandinavian connection from Denmark to Sweden, and a Wythenshawe connection with Palmer replacing Marcus Rashford. That's where they come from, two Manchester lads. And I'm pleased to say that Marcus Rashford has been able to walk around the pitch, and he's walking freely as he gets a consoling pat on the back from Gareth Southgate. England still lead by 1-0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. 62 minutes played. An own goal is the difference between the two at the moment. As the ball is played back by Steve Borge to his goalkeeper Bonello, all in green away towards our left. As England will try and press on Malta. The ball is lifted up towards that far side, and in fact it will go out of play for a throw. And I think Phil Foden, with his hands above his head, is applauding the England press as they get a throw as a result of that on that far side. England playing from right to left as we look. As it's back with Alexander-Arnold on the halfway line. Ball is switched now towards Trippier on this near side. Sell-out crowd. He'll be hoping for more goals with the just under half an hour remaining here on 5 Live, as Kyle Walker chips it over the top towards Saka, making that run in towards the penalty area, tries to lift it in, headed away by Borge, followed back down into the ground by Alexander-Arnold from just inside the penalty area, right-footed, and Bonello with a save.
Yeah, it's better from England, more positive, more assertive, seeing a run, making a run initially in behind that Malta defence. Kyle Walker seeing the run of Saka, playing it early, but what England did well there is they got players up behind it. When you're playing pretty much man-to-man, as Malta have allowed in this game, once the ball's gone over your head, you turn, you get after it, you win second balls, and Trent Alexander-Arnold was in a brilliant position as that ball fell to and struck it well, but good save by the goalkeeper.
Mentioned that crucial qualifier for Wales tomorrow away to Armenia, live on 5 Live from 2 on Sunday. Early 5:30 in the morning, the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The Cricket World Cup will start on Sports Extra at 8, but when 5 Live Sport comes on air on BBC Radio 5 from midday, then we'll hear the conclusion of that, the Cricket World Cup final, and then at 7:30 on Sunday night, Scotland-Norway from 7:30, North Macedonia and England on Monday night, Wales-Turkey live from Cardiff on Tuesday. So a lot of live football to look forward to with these on the international stage here on BBC Radio 5 Live. Just gone a little bit flat, hasn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, it has. Again, I think it's kind of credits how Malta spoiling the game a little bit. I think they're sitting in. We've watched a lot more of the second half kind of in Malta's half, and we're seeing it again now with England controlling a little bit more of the ball. But again, Malta being comfortable in the shape, staying in that back 5 and pressing the ball when they can.
As a manager, though, I think Gareth Southgate will be happier with the start of the set. Yes, Malta are now trying to frustrate and spoil, but England seem to have much more control over the game. As Connor said, we're in Malta's half now. We're not being counter-attacked on as much, and it's about when we can find our moments.
Cole Palmer goes to ground. England get a direct free kick. It's fractionally left of centre. Aside from that own goal that gave England the early lead, that Alexander-Arnold effort was actually England's first shot on target. As here, Cole Palmer has won England this free kick, and well, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking Alexander-Arnold territory.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll be stood over it, but we've got an embarrassment of riches really in this position, haven't we, to take a free kick from the edge of the box there with obviously Trippier as well. Harry Kane can step up, Phil Foden's obviously sniffing around it as well, so I think whoever takes it, I think we're expecting them to hit the target and hopefully see the back of the net, Ritval.
It's the sort of distance where Trippier scored in the Luzhniki Stadium against Croatia for his only goal for his country in that World Cup semi-final 5 years ago. Alexander-Arnold is there.
It's a great position, and we need a goal, really. As you mentioned, that was a shot on target for England. We've been largely frustrated, but this could change. If you find the back of the goal, you get a 2-0 lead, suddenly things start flowing a bit easier.
Trippier has walked away, so it's left of centre. It leaves us with Foden or Alexander-Arnold. Phil Foden touches the ball. Alexander-Arnold hits it right-footed. It was curling, but it was also over the top, and it was off target. England 1-0 goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, there was decent pressure from the wall from Malta to come out, but I'm disappointed in him missing the target. Not because it missed by much, because we're so used to him having such quality that if he misses the goal by 3 or 4 yards, we're disappointed in him. It was a nicely worked free kick. Phil Foden just moved the ball to the side of what looked like a 7-man wall that Malta had set up, but Trent couldn't find the target.
So England on course to be the one of the top seeds for the draw on the 2nd of December, and then they've got North Macedonia, as we say, next week in Skopje, and then just 2 more games. Brazil on the 23rd of March here, to be followed by Belgium just a few days later, and the FA have in fact announced tonight that Brazil game is already a sellout before the tickets even went on general sale. That will be the final opportunity for players to try and stake a claim before Gareth Southgate names his squad, and we are expecting to revert back to just 23 players to be the entitlement for the squad for the Euros next summer. It goes without saying that there'll be comprehensive coverage from Germany on BBC Radio 5 Live as England play the ball back. Tomori was certainly looking to try and stake a claim, one of the fringe players, but taken off at half-time after that switch to left back as Gahey plays the ball out towards Kyle Walker. And we're midway through the second half. It's 5 Live. England still lead by 1-0, and here once again is John Murray.
Yes, those people who've bought tickets for the match against Brazil will be very much looking forward to that. I think the crowd here tonight, which will be around about 80,000, maybe not quite. I can see quite a lot of empty red seats around the stadium, but I think the majority of them will be disappointed. They'll have come here, many of them with their children on a Friday night, expecting to see a goal fest, and it's been 1-0, but Maguire's carried the ball all the way down the left wing, plays the ball into the penalty area, but it's stabbed away by Pepe out of play. And actually the referee's just called a halt, because there is maybe Ian's physio mate might get onto the field here, because one of the I think it's Steve Borge, after putting it out, is, he's okay, he's on his feet, and we've got a problem with the assistant on the far side, and actually a UEFA official has appeared from I don't know where, and he's managed to tape up the assistant's flag on the far side, so we're able to continue.
Look at the disappointed in the physio in front of us.
He's out there.
He's trudging back.
He's got his bag on the edge of the bench. Am I on? No, go and sit down. Michele Marcolini, the coach, says, back on your seat. I saw them actually first thing this morning, breakfast time. The coach Marcolini and his staff actually had a walk around Wembley Stadium, so they'll have seen the Bobby Moore statue outside the ground, dreaming of what they might have been able to do tonight, and they're not out of this. Might be worth pointing out that if the Maltese player is able to score, he'd be the first man to score for Malta against England at Wembley. So there's a piece of Maltese football history waiting out there, and if they were able to get a result here, this would be one of the great results for Maltese football. And I'm just looking at Jody Jones, the Londoner of Notts County. What a story that would be. But England leading through the only goal of the match so far in the 8th minute, and they've not been able to add to it. Harry Kane booked for diving in the first half when he thought he'd won a penalty. It really has been quite underwhelming, and England missing some of their their key men tonight. Mentioned left back, John Stones at the back, so important to what England do. Declan Rice is on the field now, but Jude Bellingham, whenever he's not involved now for England, there's a real gap there. But here's Palmer. Let's see what he can do on his first cap, the Chelsea man as he is now after that amazing moment that he had on Sunday over in West London in the 4-4 draw. But England lose possession. However, Rice steps in, wins it back. Here's Kane, low ball forward from him to Saka, who just tried to take a touch, tried to take it on into his stride, but didn't get the touch that he wanted. And Malta have got it back inside their own penalty area. And playing it out from the back to Joseph and Bong, who's losing out to Trippier, and now Cole Palmer carrying it forward. Palmer is dispossessed though by Joseph and Bong, who followed him all the way and won the ball back, and now plays it forward to Kemal Reid. But Reid is beaten to the ball by Gahey, and England have got it back with Pickford, the goalkeeper.
Oh, he just wasn't looking over the right shoulder there, Reid, as he was looking to see when the pass was going to be played. But two sloppy moments again from England. Connor spoke about it in the first half. He thought England had cut it out in the second. Kaya Saka not controlling the ball properly initially, then Cole Palmer trying to do too much, giving the ball away. England have had opportunities to create chances at times in this game, but just a little bit of sloppiness.
Yes, we have Conor Cody here with us tonight, once of Everton and England, now of Leicester City, alongside another former Everton and England man, Leon Osman, now of the BBC. And here is Trippier on the halfway line, playing the ball infield towards Alexander-Arnold. Square from him to Declan Rice. Declan Rice carrying it forward towards the edge of the area. Might have gone down there, but kept his feet. Gives it out to the right-hand side, where it's worked in again to Rice on the edge of the box. Foden twisting, tight area, just into the penalty area. Now it's driven across from the right-hand side from Walker, but blocked at the near post. Palmer was in there, but there was a defender too, and it's turned out of play for an England throw.
Yeah, that's really good from England, and it all starts because Declan Rice picked the ball up and decided to go and commit somebody, put them on the back foot, commit one of those defenders in England, with Cole Palmer there nearly getting that opportunity. Good cross in by Kyle Walker. Palmer set off early, but just couldn't quite get the necessary touch towards goal.
Yep. Kyle Walker, who's come on at right back, winning his 80th cap tonight. He's the 20th man to reach 80 caps for England. And Jordan Henderson, his 81st tonight. But he's off the field. There were one or two boos, I noticed, when Jordan Henderson was withdrawn again here at Wembley for his Saudi Arabian connections. Harry Maguire in the centre circle. Harry Maguire passing it forward towards Trippier. Still only 1-0. And we've got just over 15 minutes of the 90 to play. England just need the wins to make sure they're in pot one. But as I say, I think all of those assembled here tonight were expecting more thrills and spills than this, certainly. But here's Saka on the right-hand side. England have the players on the field to create goals, even with 15 minutes left to play. Back it goes to Kyle Walker, puts his foot on the ball. Plays it out towards Trippier, who's now moved across to the left-hand side. So it looks as though Kieran Trippier is going to play the whole match after all of the knocks and bangs that he's taken for Newcastle United this season. Rice playing it across. England a little fortunate that Palmer was able to keep it. Alexander-Arnold plays it round the one side of Christensen and then rolls it into the path of Walker. Walker up towards the edge of the box. Foden back to Saka. Saka across. Kane's in the middle, and that's 2-0. And finally, there's some fluency for England here tonight. But what fluency! And Kane on the end of it, on the edge of the 6-yard box. Harry Kane can't stop scoring for Bayern Munich, can't stop scoring for England. That's number 62, and it's England 2, Malta 0.
Brilliant goal. Easily the best move England have managed to put together in the game so far. Trent Alexander-Arnold, we've mentioned him all night long, picking the ball up under a bit of pressure just inside the Malta half, figuring a way out of it. Kyle Walker running with the ball again, running towards somebody, committing somebody. Malta then have to jump out of position and do something. That provides a touch of space for a teammate. Comes to Foden, round the corner to Saka again, touch and pass into the middle of the goal, 6 yards out, and Harry Kane doesn't miss from there. Very good finish.
It's more like it for England, Connor.
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And again, I think if you look at Phil Foden at number 10 role, just playing the pass into Bukayo, and then obviously squaring it for Harry, which Harry does what he does and he gets his goal. But what a goal, and I think, like Ozzy said, I think it's the best move of the match by a country mile, and a fantastic goal for England.
Yep. And that is now, as I say, number 62 for England, It's 11 goals in his last 10 England appearances. He extends his record now that he took from Sir Bobby Charlton last month. More England goals at Wembley than anyone else. And here is Declan Rice now, approaching the edge of the penalty area. It opens up and Rice, right-footed, curls it beyond the dive of Henry Bonello. And England go from 1-0 to 2-0 to 3-0 in the space of a matter of seconds.
He's certainly made an impact since he's come on, Declan Rice, and that comes from two people running forward, one with the ball and one without the ball. Declan Rice picks it up, he drives forward, he's got one thing in his mind, to put this Malta team on the back foot. He's seen his teammate do it a moment ago, Kyle Walker, for a goal, and he decides to pick the ball up and drive forward. But the other thing is Phil Foden, he makes the run off the ball, it takes defenders with him, and that move from Declan Rice, just a cut inside, used the space that Phil Foden's created, everything opened up, everything seemed to slow down as he picked his spot inside that far post, curling the ball. The only thing that nearly stopped it was Harry Kane trying to get across into a good striker's position. He did really well to avoid it. Keeper at full stretch, can only just get fingertips on it, and it's a brilliant third goal for England.
Yep, England 3, Malta 0 now. Connor?
Yeah, and I think the substitutions have been great. I think they've given us a little bit of life. I think they've given us a little bit on the front foot and pushed us forward a little bit. And we've seen Declan Rice do that a little bit for Arsenal this year as well. So maybe that's something he's trying to bring into his game a little bit more, driving forward, goals, attacking. And it's a fantastic goal and a fantastic finish from him, yeah.
Yes, we've just seen him recently, haven't we, for Arsenal, Leon, playing in a more advanced role with Jorginho in the middle. But there is a goal check going on. VAR are having a look at this, so you can hear the boos from the supporters in the stands, and Declan Rice's goal. I suppose the question is, you mentioned it, Leon, whether Harry Kane might have been impeding the goalkeeper in a central area, and actually the officials are saying that the goal is ruled out. It's only 2-0, and the feeling is that Harry Kane, who was in the middle of the goal as Rice hit the shot, that he was in an offside position interfering with play.
There's no doubt he was in an offside position. As offsides go, he was beyond the last defender of Malta, but the shot from Declan Rice wasn't bent round the outside of him, or the goalkeeper wasn't impeded by Harry Kane being where he was. Harry Kane was to the left of the goalkeeper as the ball was hit towards that far post. The goalkeeper's made his dive. I'm not sure how much of an impact Harry Kane's position would have made on the goalkeeper there. The officials have called it. He was in an offside position, and we've been denied what was a very good England goal.
What do you think, Connor?
It's a rule that kind of gets to us all. I'll be honest, I don't get it, I don't agree with it, but he's give it, and listen, we'll look at them all the time. We see them every single weekend, don't we, where you say he's in front of the keeper's line, but you'll never ever know until the keeper says it. So I don't like it, and listen, we've just chalked off a very, very good goal for England, yeah.
The ball doesn't get bent around him. At no point really does Harry Kane get across the line of the goalkeeper. He's not stood in front of him. The ball doesn't get bent around the back of Harry Kane, where the goalkeeper loses sight of the ball for a moment. The goalkeeper never loses sight of the ball, and Harry Kane never runs across the face of the goal. Harry Kane just comes inside the far post, just briefly, but just stays on the outskirts of the ball. The ball bends on the inside of him, and for me, that's not interfering with play.
Goal back for North Macedonia in Rome. It is now Italy 3, North Macedonia 2 in the other match in this group. Malta have made a couple of changes. The debutant Kemar Reid is off. Jean Borge is off as well as England come forward, but Taumar is able to take possession back for Malta. So Kyrian Nwoku has come on up front, and Zach Muscat is on at the back. There is a choice of listening at the moment, by the way. The Premiership Rugby Union is taking place on Sports Extra just now, as there's a stoppage in play on the far side. These are the latest scores. You can hear commentary on Bath 17, Bristol 19 on Sports Extra right now. It is Sale 26, Newcastle 22 as England come forward. More scores from the United Rugby Championship in a moment, but it's played forward for the run of Foden, with goalkeeper Bonello comes out to pick it up. So those latest Rugby Union scores: Edinburgh 28, Bulls 20, Ulster 24, Lions 17 and Zebra 15, Cardiff 22. And the score here at Wembley is now, with the correcting fluid coming into place, 2-0 to England. But Foden has it on the edge of the area, hits the shot, but a diving Steve Borge threw himself into the path of it and blocked it away. So 2-0 remains the score after the Rice goal was overturned by VAR. So Pepe with the own goal in the first half, Harry Kane in the second for England, but Declan Rice does not get a goal on what is actually his 50th international appearance today. Declan Rice, it's his 47th cap for England, but if you remember back in the day, he did play 3 times for the Republic of Ireland. So it is actually his 50th international appearance, but his goal somewhat harshly ruled out, Leon.
Yeah, I feel harshly ruled out, and I think, you know, it's a shame. I think in the Premier League that may have been allowed, to be honest, because of the way I've stated the goal, that the goalkeeper never loses sight, and it's a good crisp effort. The goalkeeper makes his dive, and only after the ball's gone past him does Harry Kane run across. But fortunately, internationally, sometimes that's different.
England 2, Malta 0, 5 Live and BBC Sounds. We'll have all of the reaction. If you don't hear it with us tonight, then it'll be on the Football Daily podcast, all of the interviews that we'll get from down in the tunnel, and more commentary tomorrow. Armenia against Wales from 2 o'clock, such an important game. We'll also have commentary on Wales-Turkey live from Cardiff on Tuesday night, and Monday night we'll be in Skopje for North Macedonia against England. 5 Live, the place to listen to that. World Cup final on Sunday as well, of course. Here is Rice playing it forward, but it's blocked away into the centre circle. Here is Jody Jones. Jody Jones of Notts County, the Londoner for Malta, takes it on into the middle of the half, gives it to his left to Tauma, who might have scored in the first minute for Malta. Square from him out to the right-hand side to Yankam, and then back to Joseph Mbong. Low ball to Tauma, little touch from him. Then the shot from Yankam from an angle, but wide of the right post as he looked at it.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan Pickford was ever too worried, but it was a good touch. Another good move from Malta, finding spaces in between the England midfielders, getting the ball forward, runs off the ball, touch and hit. As I said, never really going to be going on target, but another half opportunity.
And the crowd announced 81,388. So another really impressive England attendance. And as Ian mentioned, we've been told tonight that the Brazil match, the friendly in March, has been sold out before reaching general sale. But I'm sure tickets still available for the Belgium match, those 2 friendlies in March against testing opposition. You'd think Gareth Southgate would want to play very strong teams in those 2 matches, but of course you're in the latter part of the domestic season, so there'll be those considerations as well. But 2-0 it is now, in England on the way to the victory that will all but confirm them in the top pot of seeds for that draw in Hamburg on Saturday the 2nd of December. You'll be able to hear all of the Euro 2024 commentaries on 5 Live with us when we'll be in Germany next summer, and Wales might be there as well. Big games for them. You'll hear them both, as I say, over the next few days or so. Here's Rice in the centre circle, Declan Rice, just with the ball at his feet. Malta are about to make their final change, but Phil Foden running away back towards the halfway line, and Trippier will play it back into his own half, and across from him, Maguire to Gay. Mark Gay now, another unflappable performance from the Crystal Palace man. He very much does appear to be the first choice if either Stones or Maguire aren't available. Gay.
Yeah, he's done everything right tonight. He's been impressive. Everything's been done calmly, assured. His passing's been one of the best, certainly from people at the back there. I don't think he's given the ball away as far as I can remember. Can't be said for everybody at the back, and he's defended really well. He'll be really pleased with this evening.
Yeah, are you seeing it that way, Conor Cody, as well? Gay, I know Dunk is obviously impressed as well, but he's out injured from this squad.
Yeah, without a doubt, and I think that word Leon used there about assured, I think that's the biggest thing with Gay that we can say. I think even tonight, but even in the other games that he's played in, he's reliable, he's assured, he looks comfortable there at the back, and I completely agree with you. I think he's had a really, really good game tonight, to be honest with you as well.
Maltese change, it's Kane Attard who comes on for his 22nd cap onto the right side of the defence for Joseph Mbong, so the other Mbong brother is off the field, and that is it. Those are the 5 changes for Malta, who've put up a good showing tonight. The Maltese team who've won just 7 of 231 World Cup or European Championship qualifying matches. Never qualified for a World Cup or a European Championship. It's going to be 8 defeats out of 8 in the group for them. But they've posed England some questions tonight. And here's Trippier on the left-hand side. I think quite a few members of this crowd of 80-odd thousand are beginning to leave. Here's Rice, though, through the middle as England look for a third. Kane on the edge of the area. Walker now. Walker across, and Rice in two minds whether he was trying to flick it or just get a touch on it. I think he was in two minds and just sent it behind for a goal kick wide of the near post.
Yeah, I think he thought that Kyle Walker was going to flash that right through the 6-yard box, where England had 3 players all tearing into there. Palmer, Foden, Saka. Declan Rice was just a touch behind them. The ball was a little bit behind him. Wasn't quite sure what he was doing with regards to whether to bring it in or crisply turn it in one goal. But whenever England raise the tempo like that, they can create opportunities.
And in the 87th minute, the Maltese physio is getting his moment under the floodlights at Wembley Stadium, because one of the Maltese players has gone down in the 6-yard box and he's on, and he's getting to get his sponge out at Wembley. So congratulations to him.
That must have been thought through, that.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
in the 87th minute.
Yeah, go down.
Not that he mentioned it at all to anyone.
That must be his best mate in the squad. If nothing's happened, if I haven't gone on by then,
it's the captain
do
as well.
Do me a favour.
It's
yeah,
the captain,
absolutely.
Steve Board. I think he knows the story there, doesn't he? Italy now 4-2 up on North Macedonia. England on the way to victory here, so that will set it up. Italy and Ukraine both will have 13 points going into that match on Monday. So 2-0 the England lead. The physio's off the field, and Malta have this goal kick. I have to confess, when I was speaking to Tony Livesey on Drive, the feeling would be at this time England's lead would be comfortable. Alexander-Arnold going to try a shot. Bonello, the goalkeeper, falling back, sort of punches it away to his left to make sure that he deflects it across the box, and Malta put it out for a throw.
Yeah, he acted as if it took a slight deflection. I don't know if the ball did or whether it just moved so much with the action that Trent Alexander-Arnold put on it. But again, good pressure from England. They won the ball back well. They released Trent in a lovely position, 10 yards outside the penalty area. Decent effort at goal, but the keeper makes a good save.
Yeah, England coming forward, the white shirts, playing from right to left as we look, trying to take advantage of a tiring Malta. Gay with the ball, out to Walker on the right-hand side. Walker comes inside, but Saka actually drops all the way back to take up possession, and then curls a low bouncing pass across the halfway line here towards us. Trippier up towards Foden, Phil Foden, who keeps his feet well and then is upended by Attard, and it's a free kick to England over here towards the left-hand side. Yes, when I was on Drive earlier, I thought by this stage of the game I would have plenty of time to mention this Friday's fact of the day. The fact that there is a famous village in Malta where all of the young Maltese take their children to see, where the Popeye film was made many years ago when Robin Williams was in that. That was today's fact of the day. There, slipped in, a rite of passage for Maltese people. And every Friday afternoon on Drive, you will hear it. Free kick for England then. Trippier and Foden together. Trippier marches back. False start. Foden plays it in. At head height, it's headed away. Jody Jones is able to pull the ball down and then play it off Trippier and win a throw-in. In the 90th minute, 2-0, just like Gareth Southgate's first match as the England manager, the interim as he was at the time back in 2016. 2-0 against Malta.
Yeah, I think any manager would take a victory, because England want to secure this position in top one and going into the Euros. I don't think it's been as fluent as Gareth Southgate would have imagined. I don't think the goals, obviously they certainly haven't flowed as much as the England fans would have wanted. But again, it's another game where England get the job done and move on. Things to work on, absolutely.
Kane heading the ball infield, but it's headed away by Muscat, Zach Muscat, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. I think fitting as well that on a night, I think that's one of the things we'll remember tonight, that tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton, really completing the circle of the tributes to Sir Bobby. We've seen Old Trafford, we've seen the streets of Manchester, the funeral on Monday, and then here in this part of North London that was so important to Sir Bobby. I think fitting that Harry Kane, the man who's now England's leading goal scorer, managed to get on the score sheet, throwing to England down the right-hand side. And I noticed as well that Wayne Rooney, the man who had the record in between Sir Bobby and Harry Kane, is here tonight. The Birmingham City manager was pictured in the stands, sitting just a couple of seats along from Sir Bobby Charlton's old teammate Sir Geoff Hurst, and our old colleague Jimmy Armfield as well, who was a great friend of Sir Bobby's. Sad news for us recently to hear that Jimmy's wife Anne died recently, and she was a lovely woman. Spent a bit of time with her at Euro 2004, with her and Jimmy, when we used to go to the same cafe in Porto every night, because that's what Jimmy liked. Here's Trippier now to Palmer on the left-hand side. 6 minutes of added time. Cole Palmer on his England debut, trying to find his way to the area, which he does, and then the cross deflected up and across the face of goal and beyond the far post for a corner to England.
Yeah, well, that's what he's in the team for. That's what he's shown he's capable of, picking the ball up. Defenders get really nervous. You can move and twist and turn and manipulate the ball in the way players like Cole Palmer have and can. We've seen it too much since he's joined the field. He's been picking up lovely pockets of positions and playing nice passing. It's great to see him being a bit more assertive and dynamic there.
When he sat in front of the media at St George's Park this week, one of the first questions was, did you feel the pressure of that penalty, Cole Palmer, at Stamford Bridge on Sunday night? And he said, not really. Here's Foden to take the corner from the left-hand side. Movement near the penalty spot. Foden's corner is a deep one towards the back post. And Maguire stretching for it, did get his head to it, but actually headed it out of the penalty area. And then here's Harry Kane over there on the far side. Kane playing the ball back into his own half to Kieran Trippier. So we're in the 3rd minute of added time at the end of the match. We thought it was 3-0. VAR took that away. But Conor Cody, not a match that'll linger long in the memory, I don't think.
I don't think it's been one for the history books, but what I will say is that England have got the win. They know what they need to improve on. They'll learn, they'll get better, and the most important thing is winning. And England have won tonight, and that's the biggest thing for me. So there's a lot they need to improve on, and let's be honest, a lot of players who need to come back into the team. You mentioned Bellingham, John Stones, who's a huge player in this team as well. I think they'll come back in and make England better, and like I said, it's a win, and England move on to next week now.
Yep, just underline it. This will be 9 matches unbeaten for England. Last defeat was in the World Cup quarter-final in Qatar almost a year ago against France, and it will be 1-8, drawn 1 of those 9 matches. And I'm sure for England the target will be, they've got Brazil and Belgium to play in March, but to get to the Euros unbeaten, so to go between the tournaments unbeaten.
Yeah, it will be, but you think about how they build up to play the Rugby World Cup. It's about peaking at the right moments. There's no point in getting to the Euros and then being at a certain stage of your development. You want to get better, work on things, make sure you're improving, so that at the start of the tournament you're okay, but come the quarter-finals, semi-finals and hopefully the final, you're just about peaking to your best.
Malta have the ball inside their own half. Could be a tricky one on Monday night. North Macedonia, I noticed the pitch isn't always the best in that stadium, and England struggled in Wrocław on a not the best pitch, the only match in the group in which they've dropped points. Full times in the Premiership: Bath 20, Bristol 19, and Sale 40, Newcastle 22. As Malta attack down the left, but Jody Jones shoves over Kieran Trippier, and it's a free kick to England that is played back into the penalty area. And in the United Rugby Championship, full times as well: Edinburgh 31, Bulls 23, Ulster 24, Lions 17, Zebra 22, Cardiff 22. So 2-0 to England, own goal and Harry Kane. And England passing it forward towards Saka, who is strongly, firmly challenged by Zach Muscat. Free kick, which is taken short, and then Saka again, ball in field towards Alexander-Arnold, and then Alexander-Arnold back towards the edge of the penalty area. Who would you pick out, Leon? We talked about Alexander-Arnold in the first half. As I say, Foden has done a lot of good things.
Yeah, I think the 3 best performers who've played 90 minutes have been Foden, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Guehi. We've spoken about them all. I think they've had pretty impressive evenings. when you look at people who've come on, Declan Rice has made an impact, Saka's certainly made an impact, he always seems to in an England shirt, but I don't think everybody will come away thinking I've played really, really well tonight and maybe have enhanced my claims, but certainly some people out there.
So England with Pickford, barely touched the ball in the second half. The Everton goalkeeper had a chance to mull things over. Here's Trippier infield towards Rice, and then Trippier plays it back towards the edge of the penalty area. The 6 minutes of added time are almost up. We're heading down to the dressing rooms to do the interviews. We'll put those on the 5 Live Football Daily podcast if you don't hear them tonight. But there it is, there's the final whistle at Wembley Stadium. Gareth Southgate comes across after a victory in his 90th match in charge, just like the win in his first match in charge back in 2016. England 2, Malta 0. A goal in each half, an own goal early on, forced by Phil Foden, and then Harry Kane getting his customary goal, his 25th for England at Wembley, his 62nd in all. Declan Rice had one ruled out. There's a feeling that Harry Kane might have had a penalty in the first half, booked for diving. Might get the chance to talk to him about that after the match. But Leon Osman, sum it up.
Yeah, I think we all came here this evening, sell out at Wembley, expecting England to win this game comfortably. Fans probably expecting 3s, 4s, 5s. I think Malta certainly didn't want that to happen. They played really well. They made it very difficult. I think England were a little bit unbalanced in what Gareth Southgate tried in the first half and limped to a 1-0 scoreline at half-time. Much better in the second half after making those substitutions. Should have had a penalty kick, had what I feel was a good goal disallowed, so the scoreline certainly could have been better. There's a lot to work on. Performances will get better, but another victory as we're preparing for the Euros. Connor?
Yeah, exactly the same. I think it was something where I think in the end it was comfortable for England. Looking at the second half, we mentioned during the second half it was played all in Malta's half, so I do think it was comfortable in the end. But again, loads to improve on, but I think it's something we can build on, we can move forward, we can look forward to next week now, and then obviously then big friendlies come next year and then getting ready for the Euros.
Yep, so there we are. So that's the win that will take England to the very brink of being confirmed as one of the top seeds for the draw in Germany next month. They've won all 4 home matches in the group. Final score here at Wembley tonight, England 2, Malta 0.
Thank you, John. So John's off to get some interviews here. Dennis, Leon Osman and Conor Cody are going to stay with me. Fellas, I'll throw this out there as to whoever wants to take it first. I don't want to be Mr. Pessimistic here, but what do we get from that? What do we take from that tonight? What was a positive from that tonight? What's Gareth Southgate going to look at and say, well, I didn't know that before tonight? I mean, I'm just kind of looking at that as a bit of a non-event in general.
Well, I'll go first, Fletcher. I would be looking at this thinking, we've got better players to come into this. We've got Jude Bellingham, we've got John Stones. But what if we get to the tournament and for whatever reason they're not available? Look, that's where we were at this evening without them. Let's go to North Macedonia and let's see who's going to show me they can claim one of those roles. And I'd be putting that kind of statement out there. I think a couple of people certainly have showed what they can do. I think Trent had a good game in midfield, but he looked exhausted with 15 minutes to go. That's something that you step up from midfield. I think he'll learn that role a bit better. I think there are other pieces to find out, but the main one is who's going to stake that claim and how do we play if Jude Bellingham isn't available for us for a game.
I think the other main positive, Darren, would be from Gareth Southgate's point of view is that the win will mean that they're now one of the top seeds for the Euros. I think it was an underwhelming night. I don't think you can get away from that. I mean, England struggled to create clear-cut opportunities against Malta, so anybody here coming thinking they were going to see a glut of goals will have gone home disappointed. But that win should mean now that come December the 2nd they will be one of the top seeds for the Euros next summer, along with Portugal, Spain, France, Belgium, as well as the host Germany.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's something, the biggest thing for me is winning. That's the biggest thing for me as a football player. Look at these England lads and listen, we'd love to come here tonight and you're 4 or 5 goals up and the lads are playing free-flowing football, we're scoring loads of goals, loads of chances, but not every game's like that. It really isn't. We've given Malta a little bit of credit, but at the same time, we should be coming winning these games. We have done, and like I've said a few times now, I think we'll look forward to the games next year, to the game next week first and foremost, and the games next year, and like I said, make sure we're peaking come next summer.
All I'd say though, Conor, is this was Malta tonight. Malta. And without being disrespectful to them, the world ranking tells you where they are. If you look at the goals they concede and the results they have, there are lopsided victories against them most of the time we see them. Leon made the point there was no Jude Bellingham tonight, X, Y and Z. I would challenge that if this England team is that easy to contained by a team like Malta, that doesn't necessarily bode well for what lies ahead next year when they've got some big matches to win and they're going to go to the Euros with the nation expecting them to be a semi-final, final, maybe winners of that tournament. There's a long way to go from there tonight. That was flat as a pancake, and that's not the first time recently that we've seen that kind of performance from this group.
No, I think it's something that we've got to look at. I said before about kind of improving. There's lots to improve, of course there is. We're right in the middle of a season. We've seen a lot of new players tonight. But I think at the same time, we're giving a lot of new players a chance. You've seen Cole Palmer come on. You've got Rico Lewis still on the bench. You've got new players coming into this team and a lot of players you need to bed in. So ultimately, you're looking at it, and we want to come here every time we come to Wembley and watch England, and you want to see 4 and 5 goals, and I completely agree. When you're playing a Malta team, you expect that, but there's a lot of improvement to be made. I think we can all see it, and the good thing about this England team, I think they want to improve and they want to get better, and they know that they want to go to the Euros next year and go all the way with it.
Yeah, I mean, Ian, go on, Leon.
I was just saying, I think the question is for Gareth Southgate here, and I say that England have developed a nice style of play that is exciting, that's expansive, but it needs driving players from midfield. When Declan Rice joined the action and he started driving forward at the midfield, that's what we started to see from England lately, and that's what Jude Bellingham does. But we don't seem to have a direct replacement if Jude Bellingham was injured. So do we now have to, rather than say, well, this is how we play and we're going to put new pieces into that, does Gareth Southgate now need to look and say, well, who could come in and directly replace what Jude Bellingham can do? Or do I now need to say, if Jude Bellingham isn't available, I'm going to have to develop a different style for us within what I've got available with these players? Do I need to find a different role that Foden can give me his best? Will Jack Grealish come on and play there? Because I won't have that driving player from midfield. And I think what came out tonight is, does Gareth Southgate need to find a plan B?
Leon, just on that though, I think it was either John or Ian mentioned it was his 90th game as the England manager. Why does he not have those answers by now? How he uses Foden, what he does with Grealish? I mean, surely the body of work and the sample size is big enough now with the tournament experience, the qualification experience, that he should know what the situational problems are and how to cope with them. He shouldn't be learning that now, moving towards the Euros. He's worked with these players for long enough, surely.
Yes, but you develop a way of playing. You do, absolutely, and we're expecting Jude Bellingham to be available. We're certainly hoping he'll be available going into the tournament. When he plays, we look great. We look free flowing. So you build your team around your best players. You do, absolutely, and we've been doing that lately, getting the best out of Jude Bellingham, or at least Jude Bellingham's been playing outstanding wherever and whichever game he's playing for club or country. But we've got him and we're getting the best out of him. Now, tonight we didn't have him and we didn't look as dynamic a team. Now, it's difficult for a manager to develop a team as if your best player's not there, because you're going to play your best players more regular than not. You're going to play him 95, 98, 99% of the time. But what if he's not? And if, let's hope, doesn't happen, we got to the tournament, what's the answer? So it's difficult for a manager because you have to plan for your best team. But I suppose you always have to ask that question as a coach, what if? And what if a manager? So maybe this has come at a good time for England, for Gareth Southgate. But it's difficult because he's not going to go to the next two camps thinking, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to leave Jude Bellingham out because I need to work on what if. You're never going to do that, so it's not an easy thing for a manager to solve.
I also think, Fletch, it's something where, if you look at since the last Euros when we had it here, the team has evolved. He's evolved it with Jude Bellingham in midfield. We played a lot with, obviously, Calvin and Declan in midfield at the last Euros, due come into the World Cup, and that's the team evolving. His team's evolving. It's hard when you've got your best players. Okay, when your best players aren't available, you're then going, right, where do we go here? How can we change this? But his style of play and his main player at this moment in time is Jude Bellingham. That is simple. I think we'll all agree with that. So
I know, but you shouldn't need Jude Bellingham against Malta. That's the challenge. They might go into the tournament next summer as one of the favourites, and heaven forbid he gets injured or suspended. What do we do at that point? Just say, well, we've not got Jude Bellingham, so we're now not very good. They played Malta tonight without him And Malta found it so easy to contain that group of players. And when you look at the odds for the tournament next summer, England will be favourites to win it. And if not, they'll be second favourites to France. And they couldn't get past Malta tonight properly, effectively, without Jude Bellingham. That's got to be a big concern for everybody.
I'll be honest, I think we look at every England game and we always pick out kind of what went wrong and what's this and what's that. I know exactly what you're saying, but I'm trying to look at kind of how the England team's evolving, and I think a massive part of that, and okay, Jude Bellingham might not be available, Declan Rice might get a suspension or an injury, and what if, but it's what if the other way, what if they are available and we've got them and we're flying, and this is how we play, and this is the England team, they're dynamic, they're on the front foot, they're pushing forward, they're scoring goals, and that's how you'd want to look at it. That's how you're optimistic as an England fan. So that's how I look at it as an England fan going forward, if I'm being honest.
The other thing,
Dano, the question I was going to ask you, Dano, the question I was going to put to you, and you will have been in there, you'll have been in there, and you spend a lot of time around him. And this week, Gareth Southgate was quite keen to have a little bit of a pop back at the people that question what he does and how he does it. But when they then go out the following night against Malta and play like that, you can then understand why those questions get asked, can't you?
Well, England have already delivered in this group with you think to the performance that set the tone in getting the result in Naples against Italy and beating Italy here last time out to qualify. So I think England have proven themselves in that respect. And you look at the starting lineup tonight and you're thinking, how many of these players are going to be in the opening game in June? 4, 5 max.
Yeah, I mean, look. Yeah.
So they're not just missing. They were not just missing Bellingham. They were missing Rice. There was a number of regulars who weren't starting tonight.
But not only that. I mean, Fletch, we want to see a manager trying something and working on something, but not everything works. He tried something in the first half. He tried Tomori as a left back to come in and pretty much play as 3 centre halves. And we tried something a little bit unbalanced down the left. We tried an overload on the right, which he tried something. It didn't work. Absolutely it didn't work. Malta were probably the better team in the first half. We went in 1-0. We still got the job done as a team full of good players. Half time he made changes. We had a lot more control in the second half. It could have been ended 3-0. It could have ended 4. Not as easy on the eye, but we started to show with some flashes of quality moves what we were like when we were getting back to putting the pieces in the right hole. So he tried something, it didn't work, but we still won the game.
Dano, on that, you just made the point there, and you're probably right, that there might only have been 4 or 5 that started tonight who would be a starter for game 1 of the Championship. But the challenge for that would be, how often do you see a team start with an 11 in a major tournament and go right the way through with the 11 and win the tournament with a team that started? You invariably win it by the ones that can come in and fill the void for the big players who aren't there. And that would be the concern, that when England's got its best 11 out there, you fancy them against anybody. The cracks start to appear when that's not the case, and tonight was the evidence.
Yeah, but I think that with England that the scrutiny is so high, and there's no grey area. And I've always said this. I've been covering England for 15 years. It's either black
Ian,
or
just
white.
hold that thought for 1 second. You will understand why, because we've got Harry Kane. We'll get straight back to your answer, but John's got Harry Kane. John?
Yes, the England captain standing in front of me after yet another goal for England, Harry, but it was a bit of a struggle tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's probably, it's not our finest performance, let's put it that way, but sometimes you play against a team who, have got more quality than what people think. We missed, the start of the game. We missed with the right tempo. We were sloppy with a few passes, and we couldn't quite, build that. In the second half, we was better and we had more control and created a couple of chances. But overall, it's a 2-0 win. We know we can play better, but we're not going to complain.
Yeah, and let me ask you about what happened in the first half. Booked for diving at Wembley, the England captain.
I was surprised it didn't get overturned, but it's one of them. The ref made his decision. Sometimes VAR don't want to intervene too much, but it is what it is. That's football. That's part of the game. All I'm focused on is that we won, and hopefully that secures us for the top seed going into next summer.
From a preparation point of view, these matches, North Macedonia on Monday, and then the 2 games against Brazil and Belgium in March, it's coming very quickly now. Are there any concerns about when it's not the full first choice team for England?
I don't think so. I think we're playing a lot of games at the moment. We've got some injuries in the squad as well. But the people coming in have to be ready to perform. I don't think that was an issue today. I just think as a whole, all the players who started just weren't quite at their usual standard. But again, that's football. Sometimes that happens. So we're not going to panic about it. We know, it's a stage of the season where everyone's playing a lot of games, and we just missed that mental fatigue a little bit. But we're top of the group in a group that's been tough, and we've come through it well. We've got one more game to hopefully finish out with a win.
And just finally, I don't know about you, it certainly felt fitting to me that you got on the score sheet on a night tonight when Wembley said goodbye to Sir Bobby Charlton, and Wayne Rooney was also sitting up in the stands tonight.
Yeah, no, for sure. Sir Bobby was one of England's best ever players, and the tribute before the game was fantastic, and he'll be missed, throughout the whole country. So we of course wanted to win tonight because of that. I was desperate to score because of that. So thankfully I was able to do that. It was to say goodbye and win the match at Wembley is a nice thing to do.
Well done, Harry.
Cheers,
Thank you. No worries. Cheers. Harry Kane, Darren.
Thank you, John. Top work down there. The England captain Harry Kane live on 5 Live. Ian, sorry we interrupted you. Pick up where you left off.
I can't remember what I was saying now. I think I was just saying that there's probably...
You're doing well.
There's no middle ground with England, but,
No.
England have done what they've had to do. You look at England have lost once in 64 qualifiers now for major tournaments. That record is better than Germany, it's better than France, it's better than Spain. Italy, the European champions, haven't qualified for the last 2 World Cups. And England put in... Harry Kane just said it himself. It was not as to the highest standards that they've produced in the games against Italy in this group, or indeed against Ukraine, some of the better sides. But they've qualified with 2 games to spare. They've now become the top seeds. You look at the team that started. None of that midfield that started tonight, I don't think will start come the opening game in the Euros in the summer. So I just sometimes think that a little bit of perspective is required with England.
Yeah, is the likelihood there, Dano, that he would start Calvin Phillips for the first game in the summer? When you talk about his ideal midfield, because that again would raise eyebrows because he's not likely to play much between now and then. But I think if anybody put the 11 down right now, they'd probably find a place for him, and he's not even playing.
I think if that midfield 3, there's one, you've got Rice and you've got Bellingham, and then the other midfield role is open for debate. And I think Calvin Phillips has got a problem. He didn't feature tonight because he's missed a lot of the training. He only I think arrived yesterday, so he was never going to play tonight. But Calvin Phillips has got a problem for the summer in the fact that he's not playing regularly for Manchester City. So I think that from his point of view, he's probably got to try and facilitate a move in January to try and force his way back into Gareth Southgate's thinking. Because for me, I would say there's still one midfield role up for grabs alongside Rice and Bellingham, providing everybody's fit.
Yeah, just on Harry Kane there, because he said to John that he thought that the penalty decision would be overturned, that he wouldn't be shown a yellow card. I mean, I've got to say, I thought it was a penalty for England. He clearly did as well. It's not in Harry Kane's makeup to be throwing himself here, there and everywhere. How did you guys see it?
I thought it was a penalty. I did think, as all good strikers do, he knew where the goalkeeper was. He sensed him coming. He made sure his leg was in a position that the goalkeeper could bring him down or certainly make contact. But that's what good strikers do. And, Harry Kane, I watched him when he went to ground. He just lay there face down with his arms out, waiting, probably thinking about where he was going to put his penalty kick, just expecting to turn around and see the referee pointing to the spot. And he was as surprised as anyone when the referee was walking towards him to brandish a yellow card, and they had an argument. As he said, he thought it'd be overturned, but he was surprised. We were surprised here in the commentary booth.
Yeah. Nick says, by the way, on social media, why are we surprised England are struggling? Players out of position and players out of form, which is a little bit about what's been said by the fellas tonight. And Colin said, England have all the ingredients for a 3-star Michelin meal, but are serving up bubble and squeak. Depressing to watch.
I think, from my own, but going back to it, I think it's kind of, when we watch club football and we kind of watch club football and we say club football, when you win and don't play well, it's a sign of a top team sometimes. With England, we never seem to say that, ever. We never ever seem to say that. Now, I think everybody will agree. Harry just said it there in his interview that England weren't great, they didn't start great. We completely agree, and I understand what people are saying watching it, but I think they'll all take it with a pinch of salt and go, right, okay, there's been a lot of changes, there's that. we've won 2-0, right, we move forward, we forget about it and we move forward. And I think you do that a lot as footballers, a lot to improve. But again, like, I go back to kind of what I've been saying there, and I think of it when you think of club football. I know it's not club football, but you say certain things of club football and it goes out the window with England. So, like I said, I don't think there'll be much panic. I don't think they'll be down there now going, oh, we got this wrong or that wrong. It's a win and we move forward.
Yeah, Dano, you made the point that it's always black and white with England, and it is. I would completely agree with the point that you made. I think it's because, in general, the England supporter base, the people in this country know just how blessed we are to have the group of players that we have now. And I think we all get the feeling that if we're ever going to win a major tournament, it's going to be with this group and possibly with this manager. So I think that's where the fear comes in. The nearer you get to a major tournament and you see a night like this, it frightens England fans, doesn't it? Because realistically, with the players we've got, you would expect them to be better than that. So I think that's where the black and white comes and the fear comes and the paper aeroplanes and the groaning at Wembley. I think it just becomes now because expectations are there again based on just how good these footballers are when we see them play for their club sides.
Yeah, but they weren't at full strength tonight, and they've still won the game. And I think that ultimately Gareth Southgate in England will be judged on the results in the tournament. You know, Gareth Southgate's contract runs out at Euro 2024, but I wouldn't necessarily think that the England supporters are going to be frightened about what's going to happen next summer because they've struggled to a 2-0 win against Malta.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fears are there though, Ian, in general, aren't they? I don't think tonight's the tipping point, but I think just in general there is this inherent fear that they might not maximise the talent that they've got with this group. That seems England fans I speak to, that's what they say to me. Well,
Bearing in mind, I was in Scotland after. I don't sense that fear. I sense an excitement with England, with this group of players. I think that they have evolved, and I think now with Bellingham with that licence to roam, I don't sense that fear.
Would England fans have expected Gareth Southgate to play his strong...
Leon, just hold that thought. We've got time to squeeze one more interview, and John's downstairs with the England manager, Gareth Southgate.
Yes, it is. It is the England manager, Gareth Southgate. 2-0 against Malta, Gareth, just like it started back in 2016, and a bit of huff and puff, wasn't there?
It was. It's a classic, really. If you don't start games well, it's very hard to pick it up, and we didn't. So... we know that the level we've got should be better, can be better. I think those games where you know at the back of your mind you can win at a canter, with the number of games the players are playing, I think sometimes there's almost a self-regulation, and we didn't hit the heights that we obviously have done through the rest of this calendar year. So not enough quality on the ball, not enough chances created. But I've been a player. I know exactly how those nights feel, and clearly it's possible we could have had 3 or 4 with a couple of different decisions as well. But we didn't create enough clear chances to really deserve that anyway.
I know that the talent is out there on the field, but it's a little bit like the conversations we were having last month for the Australia game, which I know was, in inverted commas, a weaker team. Should we be concerned? Should England fans be concerned when it's not absolutely all of your frontliners, your first choice players who are in the team?
Well, we've asked people to fulfil some roles tonight that aren't their usual position, like Fikayo, and it's not so easy for him to build down that side. We've obviously got problems with availability in that area of the pitch, and you're trying to give some of the players a bit of a breather as well because of the amount of football they have. So in the end you can pay for that a little bit. I think we've got a lot of players that weren't in there tonight. We still had some good performances in there tonight. I thought Trent was very, very good. Phil as well. I thought Mark Gurhey was very accomplished. And Cole Palmer coming on had a good impact on his debut. So there were some positives to take from that, but we know the level wasn't where we want to be or can be.
Yep. So you're looking for an improvement on Monday in Skopje?
No, of course, yeah.
Lovely. Thank you, Gareth. Leave it at that. Thank you. Cheers. England manager Gareth Southgate.
Thank you, John. John Murray asking the questions to the England manager, and then he put him on the spot a bit there, didn't he? Leon, in terms of, should England supporters be worried when you've not got all of your players? I mean, he asked him the question. Gareth answered it. He always does. He never shirks anything. But I thought that was the key question in that little conversation between the two of them there.
Yeah, that's the way England managers always have to step up and answer questions, and I don't think it's a time to worry. I agree with Deno. If he'd have played his strongest team tonight and we'd have won 4-0, I don't think we'd have learned anything new, and we'd have all expected. He tried something tonight, he tried some more, he knows he's got to work on a few things, and we will build towards the tournament as we move forward. That's what you do as you progress. The next game against North Macedonia, I expect us to try and work on something then as well, and then you start really getting your team together and working on where you're going to be.
And really briefly, Connor and Ian, the little cameo from Cole Palmer at the end was nice, wasn't it? Nice for him, but he settled in very quickly and very well.
Yeah, and I fully expected it. Seeing the confidence he's playing with at Chelsea at the minute. We obviously seen his goal and how he played last weekend in the big game against City, and I fully expected it as well, because he comes across as so calm and how he plays. But I thought he'd done really, really well, and there's somewhat a proud moment for him and his family.
They've been following him for a while, Darren. Cole Palmer, they're aware of his pedigree, obviously, with under-21s, so they thought that with him to bring him in. Obviously, with the injury situation, it was a no-brainer. And also, I think from a different profile to Raheem Sterling, they want to try and look at him maybe centrally as well at some point, although he did primarily play on the left tonight.
Fellas, great work as always tonight. Pleasure working with you. Pleasure listening to you all. Thanks to Ian. Thanks to John, who's been downstairs. Leon Osmond, Connor Cody as well. Mark your card. Commentary of England's game with North Macedonia live on 5 Live Sport on Tuesday. As for tonight, there'll be more reaction in the Football Daily podcast available later this evening. And don't forget to download the special Everton episode available now via BBC Sounds with reaction to the club's 10-point deduction from earlier today. Tomorrow on 5 Live Sport, Mark Chapman's going to be...